This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL Premiership season.
AFL. On your radio.
On digital. And take us with you on the ABC Listener.
Look for the AFL button.
322 days on, they meet again at the famed Melbourne Cricket Ground. It is Collingwood and the Brisbane Lions as round 23, the penultimate round of the AFL home and away season, continues. Corbin Middlemass alongside Ben Cameron to call the footy. Our premiership pair, Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball. It is a partly cloudy day at the MCG. 15 degrees. The feels like temperature is 13, so a little cooler than that. But all in all, a glorious day for some Saturday twilight footy in the middle of August. Bit to play for too, particularly for the Brisbane Lions. If they win today, they can put themselves back in the top four and all the advantages that come with it. Meanwhile, for Collingwood, there's still a mathematical chance, which we love to say about those teams outside of the top eight and where they want to be at this stage of the season. There's no late change. Ned Long is the sub for Collingwood, and for Brisbane, Harry Sharp is going to start as their sub. As I said, Ben Cameron's here. Hello, Ben.
Hello, Corb. Great to be here. I mean, all of those days ago, it's a game that, to borrow one of your phrases, we won't soon forget. That was a special grand final between these two teams. Collingwood, I think it's safe to say, despite the mathematics, won't be there. Brisbane a real shot heading into September, but it is a little bit of a banana peel game for them today. They need to win against Collingwood, who might have one last punch left in them.
10 lead changes in last year's grand final. Of course, Brisbane in front, time on in the last quarter before goals to DeGoey and Sidebottom, and even one late to Joe Danaher made it interesting at the end. So a 4-point victory for the Pies. They did play earlier this year when both teams were winless, and Collingwood won that too by 20 points. Collingwood premiership players here. Luke Ball. Hello, Bally.
Hi, Corby. Hi, Ben. Yeah, not quite as much at stake, obviously, as 322 days ago, but still enough at stake, certainly for the Lions, who, I mean, you could probably say were due for a bit of a slip-up last week, Rama, having won 9 in a row. And their first quarter was terrific. I mean, they should have put that game away, as we know. And as we look up, the Giants have just beaten Fremantle. So that form's franked a little bit, the two in-form sides. So having said that, they get a trip back to the MCG where they know if they want to go that one step further, they're going to have to win in a month's time, aren't they? So Collingwood won't make it easy for them today. Glimmer of hope. They'll want to finish off the year. I mean, they don't have, quite apart from anything, they don't have their first pick, so it doesn't suit them to put the queue on the rack. They need to keep winning. So augurs well for a good game. Nice day in the end, and a decent-sized crowd.
Brisbane Lions have won only 2 of their last 17 games here, Rama, and those 2 wins both came against the Demons. The last team they beat here, other than the D's, was Collingwood a decade ago, so you have to go back to 2014. If they are to hold the cup up on grand final day, they've got to win here at least once.
Well, Dane Zorko may have been playing in that game, I imagine, in 2014, maybe. Yeah. We'll have to go and have a look at that, but it is a long time between. Look, I think that there is some important, like playing at the G late in the season is important for Brisbane if they are ultimately to play on that last Saturday in September again. So they want to put a good showing out. Look, Collingwood have no doubt they've had their moments this season, but they've also had their problems this season. I think the problems have probably far outweighed the moments. They'll want to have a moment today where they're playing in front of a home crowd to get a win. But I'm fascinated to see what Collingwood do in an off-season. We can talk about this throughout the twilight today, but they've got some decisions to make on what they want to do. How do they revamp that midfield? Do they start to look at a bit of a change in that forward line? Their back line still looks pretty solid to me, but it's probably always been that forward half connection with Collingwood, and I think that's been proven in the second half of the year this year.
Brisbane are half a game out of the top 4, so if they win here, they will still need either Port Adelaide or Geelong to lose this weekend to end the round inside the top 4.
Just on that game a decade ago when Brisbane beat Collingwood here at the MCG, he did play then, Dane Zorko. There were also 2 other players who played for Brisbane who now play for Collingwood. Who played on that day.
Jack Crisp.
Dan McStay.
Dan McStay, of course.
Yeah, believe it or not. So there are a few links to that game 2014.
Play for Collingwood that day, Benny?
He certainly did. 20 disposals, very effective as well, Borley. Only 6 contested possessions.
Wow. I got squeezed out to the forward flank on the way out.
There's no late change. Just repeating Ned Long, the sub for Collingwood and for Brisbane. It is Harry Sharp, the grand final rematch. They go at it again. Of course, Brisbane had won 6 in a row against Collingwood leading into last year's grand final, and the Pies have won the last 2 since. 17 players for both sides that featured in last year's decider. So the 6 that aren't there for Collingwood: DeGoey, Mitchell, Markov, Myercheck, Murphy's obviously been medically retired, and Ginnivan. Meanwhile, for the Brisbane Lions, the 6 that are missing: Dev Robertson was an emergency today, Link McCarthy injured, no room for Lyons, Coleman injured, McKenna out of the team, as is Gardner. So they're the 6 for both teams.
But yeah, so it's interesting, isn't it? Because I mean, a lot of those guys haven't really played or haven't featured all year from the Lions' point of view. So they're in pretty good health, whereas from the Pies, we know that they've missed those key players, especially around the middle of the ground, where we saw it last week, didn't we? That when the whips were cracking, Nick Dacos a little bit down, well held. Interesting to see who goes to, if they go to him today, whether it's Jared Berry or whether they just go head-to-head with Lachie Neale. Too much still falls on to Pendlebury and Sidebottom.
Who does Sidebottom go to? Is he going to roll after his job on Errol Gordon last week?
Looking down, he's starting in the centre square.
So
maybe it is Neale. Maybe it is Neale.
Okay. Yeah. And Starcevic, he's done some great jobs in recent weeks. We'll keep a close eye on him to see what job he gets. He's played on Jamie Elliott the last 2 times they've met. He's walked to Bobby Hill.
Bobby Hill, the Norm Smith medalist.
That's
go. Right. So who's had a terrific year, actually, must be said. There's not a heap of Collingwood players you'd say have improved this year on last. He's certainly one of those, along with Darcy Cameron in the ruck.
Brian Lester is with Jamie Elliott.
So 322 days on. They meet again at the MCG.
Darcy Moore with Charlie Cameron. Sorry, Corbs, that's an interesting matchup.
Collingwood and the Brisbane Lions. Revenge or repeat? Here we go. ABC Sport, you're with Ben Cameron.
Umpire lays it down. McInerney and Cameron go after it. Slapping it down, McInerney. Pendlebury trying to bend over and pick it up. There's going to be a free kick. It'll go the way of Neale. Sidebottom is standing him. Neale veers out to his right. Sends Brisbane inside, attacking 50. Frampton in from the side. Spoils it down. Bailey roves. Handball away towards Danaher. His handball too hot. Frampton goes and gets it for the Pies. They try to work it out by Tell, getting a handball away. Now it spills out. High free kick. It'll go the way of the Lions, I think. And Danaher will get it.
And it was there. It's against John Noble. Not sure how you get Joe Danaher high if you're John Noble, but Joe had his head right over the ball there, and it was a bit sloppy, really, from Noble to start the game.
Welcome to our audience throughout WA, by the way, who crashed in during all of that. I was so rude not to give them a proper introduction, but welcome to the MCG. Collingwood and Brisbane, no late change. Corbin Middlemass, Ben Cameron, Luke Ball and Adam Ramanauskas, your call team. So Ned Long, the sub for Collingwood, and for the Brisbane Lions, it's Harry Sharp.
Has been good on the road this year, Joe Danaher, averaging 2.5 goals a game away from the Gabba. He tugs this to start. Misses right, with the hair slicked back. Real cream right throughout it. A behind to start. We've played less than a minute here at the MCG.
Dangerous kick out. Howe puts a little too much on it. Starcevic intercepts. Hand pass to Rayner. Shoots goalward and misses on the run. From 30 out of behind, the Lions to the punt road end of the opening term. 2 behinds. Collingwood yet to score 90 seconds in.
It's in good form, isn't he, Cam Rayner?
Yeah.
He looms as the wild card, the match winner.
He's a forward mid-forward, whatever you want to call him now. Maximum damage.
And I want to atone for some down performances in last year's final series.
A long kick up towards the wing. McStay flying, can't take the mark. Comes down at ground level. Side bottom onto it. Snaps around the corner. Turnover. Zorko marks, drops the ball, changes his mind. Eventually kicks infield. A good one there for Bailey. Marks on the outer edge of the square. We'll send the Lions towards half forward, looking for Big O. Punched away there by Howe. Spills down half forward for the Lions. Coming through McCreary. Wilmot goes in. Spills out. Now they gang tackle. And a ball upcoming. Dacos and Quain are involved. The line in the middle, Dunkley. Ball up half forward for the Lions. The opening 2 scores, both behinds their way.
McInerney grabs it out of the ruck. Hurried kick forward. Cameron trying to work his way to the drop ball. Hits the deck. Now Pendlebury tackled by Neale. Dispossessed. Holding the ball, says the umpire. Free kick for Lachie Neale in the forward pocket, and it's on.
Says outstanding tackle, Bolly.
Bit of push and shove to follow, but gee, there was
not a lot of prior opportunity, Corb.
No, that's one of the newer versions of no pry but arm free, and even though he was in a pretty vulnerable position, Scotty Pendlebury, umpire decides that he needs to make a better effort and an incorrect disposal. Good tackle from Lachie Neale, as you said. Having a super year.
A two-time Brownlow medalist. Lachie Neale still hunting his first flag. He snaps across the body. Didn't quite hit it, but it'll do. It's the game's first goal. 3 minutes in, off the boot of the Brisbane champ. 1-2-8, Collingwood yet to score. Full time in the afternoon time slot. Melbourne by 54 points over the Suns. And it was GWS by 9 points over Fremantle. Our experts here at the G, Luke Ball and Adam Ramanauskas.
Well, fast start by the Lions. That's 4 inside 50s to nil to start the game. They've been tackling really well to start this game. 4 tackles to 1. So their intensity's right up in the opening couple of minutes here. Terrific tackle by Lachie Neale. It's the new interpretation, no doubt. Yep, okay, Pendlebury didn't have prior opportunity. Lachie Neale was right onto him. But Neale left the one arm free, and just Pendlebury just couldn't get the ball to his boot. And the umpire was in his right to call that holding the ball.
So the Lions have jumped them. Opening 8 points of this game. Back in the middle, the umpire lays it down. McInerney and Cameron. Cameron cuts across, palms it down. Pendlebury trying to get there, beating him to it. Buffeted off of Fletcher. Ball jars free. Moore picks it up. Handball away to Nick Dacos. Handball looking for brother Josh, who slithers free. Loops a handball to half forward. Schultz back to Josh Dacos. He'll kick inside 50 and spot up Bobby Hill. And the Brisbane defenders will be in cold sweats. Reminded of Bobby Hill on this ground.
It is a fast start, isn't it, Rami? You can tell it's a hot footy. That time it was Scott Pendlebury laying the pressure. It caused the turnover and both Dacos boys involved. Lachie Schultz just popped out into space, didn't he, by himself? A nice kick from Josh Dacos.
On the approach. Boot to ball from 45. Bobby Hill's drop punt is missing narrow. Minor score to start for the Pies. 1-8 plays one behind. We've played 5 minutes and change opening term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Brisbane hurriedly work it up to the wing. They all miss it as Frampton flew to try and spoil, and now Leicester overruns it. Sliding in there. Dunkley trying to get it out. Pack forms behind him and a ball up on the southern wing.
Looks like Dunkley's got Nick Dacos. Just keep an eye on that, Rami. You wouldn't think that that's an out-and-out tag, but certainly accountable at the stoppages.
Yellow Sharon in the twilight as McInerney palms it down for Brisbane. Coming out to meet it, Ashcroft. He's locked up straight away and the ump calls for it. Collingwood all in black, of course, with the white stripes and the black shorts, and Brisbane paying homage to old Fitzroy, so they're in the red jumper with the white shorts and, of course, the yellow line, the yellow numbering and the blue chest.
McInerney puts it on a platter for Neale, tackled immediately, shovels out a handball. Quickly, they congest the area, ball up.
Great challenges for Steele side bottom. It's a different proposition playing on a wing or an Errol Goulden, where you're just running up and down the ground, playing against the best stoppage player in the competition.
McCluggage with the clearance, tumbles it to the wing, attacking at Maynard. Ricochets off his shin out towards the boundary line. Dunkley and Pendlebury there. Dunkley wins it for the Lions. Handball away to Fletcher. Snaps around the southern wing underneath it. Howes able to mark. Backward of halfway.
One of their 9-30-year-olds all expected to go on next year. Howe heads wide to Maynard, kicks down the wing, and here's Hill. Marks it half forward. Hand pass inside. Quick kick goes deep towards the top of the goal square. No mark, punched away by Zorko when he rushes it through from behind. Little shout out to Jack Vitale as well, who sent that ball inside 50. Your man Bawley presented him his Collingwood jumper.
Yeah, it did, and he's starting to carve out a bit of a role, isn't he, on the wing? Usually, well, certainly grew up and drafted as an inside mid, but he's obviously got good running capacity, so yeah, he's playing a role out in the wing there in the last 4 weeks.
Wilmot with the kick in here for the line, shanks it, brings Quaynor into play, brings it to ground, handball away, Schultz, running snap is missing. Just couldn't quite bend it back enough. It was the man Collingwood gave away their first round draft pick for Lachie Schultz in the ownership of the Dockers now. 3 behinds for the Pies to start. Brisbane by 5 points.
Zorko goes straight up the pipe to Morris. Marks, hand pass to McCluggage. Long kick out to the southern wing. Hipwood marks between wing and half forward. Hipwood goes long to his mate Danaher in the pocket. Frampton out of position, gives away the free. He was caught with his back to the footy, made contact with Joe front on, and he'll get the kick right forward pocket for Brisbane.
Well, and it's the risk of squeezing your defence so high up the ground. So once Zorko kicked that ball out.
Here he goes, Joe, snaps across the body, and Brisbane had the first couple. The Lions in attack mode early. 8 minutes in, Brisbane 2-2-14, Collingwood 3 behinds. Saturday footy on ABC Sport, Adam Ramanauskas, Luke Ball.
And as I mentioned, it was the kick of Zorko from full back. So Schultz misses the goal. And then Zorko takes the ball from the kick in from full back, but takes it straight up the middle of the ground. And that's the risk of having your defence so high up the ground. I'm a believer in the last player that you see should be a Collingwood jumper going into Brisbane's forward line. On that occasion, there was 2 Brisbane players behind Collingwood's last defenders. So it could have either went to Joe Danaher or could have went to Charlie Cameron. So, yep, I get the aggression of wanting to squeeze the ground up, but that's the risk. Up the middle of the ground, McCluggage then takes the ball wide. Ball goes inside forward 50, free kick goal.
Slated to play game 200 next week.
He's had a good year, hasn't he, Joe? It's goal 46. Just work rate there. That's been the big thing. The continuity of games. He's looked really good.
Secondary ball up in the middle. Will Parker gets it for Collingwood. Handball a turnover. Zorko on all fours. Shovels it out to the run of Archie. Half forward for Brisbane. Kicks inside 50. Logan Morris on the burst.
He looks good, this kid, Benny.
He marks 45 metres out on a tight angle. 45 degrees, I'd go as far as to say. He's a rangy type. He's bigger than you think as well, isn't he, Rama?
Western Jets product. So he had a really good top age year in under 18s last year. Has fitted into this Brisbane forward line nicely. I reckon you'll have it there, Benny. How many goals he's kicked for the year?
Certainly do. 17 on the season. Comes in here. His drop punt is across the face and through.
17 goals is a great return from the first year forward.
Yeah, he's 191 too, so he's a perfect size and foil, isn't he, for the 200-centimetre boys. Yeah, he's a real find.
So the Lions by 2 goals neat. 10 minutes played in this opening term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Oh, Dacos exiting kick out. That's Josh. Finds Moore, who punched that last one through on the behind line. And the skipper with it at centre half back. Comes wide for Collingwood. Long kick to Howe. Marks in the back flank. Short kick finds Quaynor. Still at half-back for Collingwood. One of their 17 premiership players out there from last year. Sat in the Collingwood cheer squad as a youngster growing up and gets a chance to pull on the black and white stripes, and forever a part of their history as a premiership player. Goes short back to Howe.
He started on the wing today too, Quaynor, so getting up a bit higher up the ground.
A long kick down the wing in the box seat. No mark taken by Brain. Spills down the way of Brisbane anyway. Archie, hand pass to Neal. Short kick finds Morris. He's got it between wing and half forward for the Lions. Up 12.
Dangerous kick into the middle of the ground. Cameron arrives there for the Pies, spoils it down, hits the deck, goes back and picks it up. Cameron, handball away to Lipinski, side bottom, runs into a brick wall. Andrews tackles him, forces the turnover. Brisbane back with it. Here's Ashcroft putting it on the boot, floating it inside 50. Danaher, 45 out he marks, slight angle to the right.
Oh, he's got a bit of a look about him today, Joe, hasn't he? Yeah, he likes that match-up. I just wonder whether, you think back 322 days ago, the Darcy Moore Joe Danaher matchup was a beauty, and I just wonder whether there's still some scars almost from Darcy, because I think he's just going to be too mobile for Billy Frampton. Yeah. Some stage we'll keep an eye on it, but it might be that the skipper has to say, hey, this is the man that's going to beat us today. I'm going to have to go and play on him.
Those scars with Darcy Moore go a little bit further back than grand final day.
On the approach, boot to ball, and it is good for Joe. Danaher on the double early in this game. And Brisbane, they lead by 18 points, 3-3-21, plays 3 behinds. We've played 12 minutes opening term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Adam Ramanauskas, Luke Ball.
Corbs will be able to help me out here, but Joe won a Anzac Day medal with
that's right,
with Darcy Moore as his direct opponent that day. So the scars go back a little bit further for Darcy Moore than just the grand final. Joe had a terrific game last year, and he looks well in stride today. Billy Frampton's simply giving him too much room at the moment. You're playing on Joe Danaher, you need to be shoulder to shoulder with him at all times. He jumps at the ball, and he is enormous because he has got a big leap.
Those were happier times for Essendon fans.
2017 had 16, kicked 3. Joe Danaher, his performance that day, match-winning display for Essendon. Back in the middle of the ground comes the way of Crisp. Got a hand pass out under pressure. Straight to Ashcroft, though. Swats it down for Brisbane. Into the path of Dunkley. His handball trying to connect with Danaher on the way through. Ashcroft, superb. Got it out, cleans it up. Gives it to Wilmot, to Archie. Kicks inside 50. Hit with full stretch, no mark. Falls down towards Cameron. He's dispossessed in a tackle. Bailey forward pocket. Trying to hook it back across the body. High bomb, top of the goal square for Brisbane. Getting back. What a mark. Lyman flying through and rips it out of the sky. And Kyle Lyman will have a shot top of the goal square.
Well, Will Parker there as his direct opponent in Lyman. He just didn't want to get the arm across. Lyman only had eyes for the ball. There was 3 Collingwood defenders in that contest and plus Will Parker. That ball should have been spoiled through for a rush behind.
Kyle Lyman to make it the first 4 for Brisbane. They've established a tone here at the G. And the Lions fans are roaring behind the goals at the punt road end. 4-3-27. The Premiers 3 behinds. It's Brisbane by 24 points after less than 14 minutes. Luke Ball, Adam Ramanauskas on ABC Sport.
Yeah, what a start, Corby, what a start. And you spoke about Logan Morris being a find. How good's this kid been this year? I mean, he's just really stepped into that role vacated by Link McCarthy, hasn't he? And he's in a way, he's been a bit of a barometer for them because he's kicked 23 goals now, 21, so he's had a lot of shots at goal, but his forward pressure is something that he's brought to the team. So that's been, just looking down there now, it's a really dynamic forward line, isn't it? I mean, with Hipwood coming back into the team and Danu having the run in the ruck and Morris coming on, they can really throw a lot of looks at opposition defenders. Amazing start here from the Lions. Pies just need to get their hands on the footy.
Danaher goes into the ruck, so too Mason Cox lays it down beautifully for Pendlebury, just buffeted off his kick. Out to the wing it dribbles, Bartel picks it up, handball to Lipinski, forward of the wing for the Pies, driving ball inside 50, McStay launches, getting back Danaher, breaks it up, hits the deck, Hoskin Elliott picks it up, away to Quaynor, snaps and goals. Collingwood's first and much needed. Stems the bleeding. 4-3-27 plays 1-3-9. Brisbane lead 18 points, quarter hour mark, opening term. Our premiership pair, Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball.
Oh, it was better bally there, particularly through the centre circle. So Mason Cox wins that tap and then Pendlebury's onto it. And then there's Lipinski out wide where he's able to cut back inboard. So he's just his direct opponent there was just too far behind him. That was Shadow Brain who was his direct opponent. Oh, look. Good things happen when you go to the top of the square. So, Brisbane were Collingwood were outnumbered in that inside forward 50. But the ball comes to ground and then it causes a little bit of chaos. Isaac Quaynor, who started on the wing, as Bally mentioned, drifts down there, crumbs, easy goal in the end.
Yeah, with Parker, Will Parker's gone back, hasn't he? So that's pushed Quaynor up to the wing. Don't mind it. Worth a try.
Pies with their first goal of the game. Brisbane kicking the first 4, so they're playing from behind the Pies as McInerney grabs it out of the ruck. Quick kick forward, ball comes back to him. Neil, hand pass away to the Big O. Hurried kick forward, picked off by Howe. Has it for Collingwood, swings his kick out to the southern boundary line. Schultz collects, lifts a hand pass over the top to Bartel. Into the front half for Collingwood, ugly kick. Trying to go back and clean it up. Bailey wins it for Brisbane. Big fend off. Hand pass to Brain, kicks inboard for the Lions, over his intended target. Cox with it, fumbles, regathers, gives it to Maynard, sends Collingwood down to half forward. Punched away out there by the Lions. It comes to Neil, hand pass to Fletcher, gives it to Ashcroft. He'll give it back to Fletcher. Loops a hand pass over the top to McCluggage, who can send it inside 50.
He goes towards half forward, Moore's there, he takes a mark. On the painted defensive 50 for the Pies. Under pressure from Logan Morris. I'm just looking at Mason Cox running around in the middle of the ground at the moment. I'll come back to that as Moore goes long up towards the wing. Pack forms, McStay a hand to it, doesn't take the mark. Brain roving the pack, handball away towards Ashcroft, fighting after it on all fours. Gets it out towards Fletcher, snaps the Lions inside 50. Frampton attacks it, hits the ground running for the Pies.
He's off and moving, kicks to the wing, wants McCreery, Starcevic spoils, great work Archie, hands it back to Starcevic, keeps on running, kicks inside 50, Cameron will get there on the hop, against the boundary line, Charlie looks inboard, spears the kick, half volley pick up, not clean, McCluggage, tackled now by side bottom, umpire says ball up. 35 out from the Brisbane goal. Mason Cox.
Still don't have enough time here, Corby, as Cox wins the tap down, straight onto it. Is Ashcroft, gets it out towards McInerney, dumps it on the boot. Brilliant finish. The Big O with a brilliant finish. And that's exactly what the Lions have been. 5-3-33. They're all over Collingwood. 1-3-9. 18 minutes into the opening term. Saturday footy here on ABC Sport.
Well, the Big O, Rammer, there's something out of nothing there. He's probably not going to kick that too many times out of 10. But I want to talk about the work of Will Ashcroft in this first quarter. He's just starting to come into it now. What is it? I think maybe his fourth, fifth or sixth game back into it. He's just so clean. Yeah. But that time he showed strength, didn't he? He won the hit out, or the first possession. And he had 3 Collingwood players hanging off him. He didn't move, though. He stood up in the tackle, flicked a handball to McInerney, who kicked a bit of a freak goal, really, for the Big O. He's had a great year. Has to be in the All-Australian squad, if not the team. Big Oscar. But Will Ashcroft, just so clean, isn't he? With him and Lachie Neale, they might be two of the cleanest players in the comp. So good with their hands.
Right on cue, grabs it out of the ruck. Hurried kick forward, but straight to Josh Dacos. Takes the intercept mark, plays on. Changed his mind up by said you're off. Hurried kick forward to Pendlebury. He's tackled in the middle of the G.
And I agree with that, Corb.
Yep.
If you go to kick the ball or go to head, it's play on, because you have stepped off your line.
Cameron. That's Darcy Cameron for Collingwood. Palms it down. There's a free in the... not a ruck infringement. A free's going the way of Neale for a hold.
Yeah, a good call too. And this is where it's going to be a real challenge for every bit of Steele Sidebottom's experience. Playing on one of the best inside midfielders in the comp. Huge challenge.
Neale goes wide to Joyce in the headgear. Kicks down to Archie. Marks between wing and half forward. Kicks Brisbane inside 50. Zorko takes the mark. Was given a little cushion from Vitale and took him up on it. Short kick inboard finds Morris.
See, that right there by Dane Zorko is knowing and understanding your game. Now, I know he's been around a long time. Took the mark probably 45 metres out, right on the boundary, so knew he didn't have the distance. He's up as quick as a flash, and he's forcing players to lead towards him. Logan Morris in his first year, smart enough to do that and see the opportunity. Takes a mark, a bit worse than a 45-degree angle, but only 30 metres out.
Having his second shot at goal already, the youngest man on the ground, Logan Morris. He moves in, right-footed drop punt, misses everything. Wildly across the face, stays in play momentarily before going out off the hands of McInerney. Boundary throw in forward pocket for the Lions. Have you distilled your theory down into a short soundbite, Ben?
No, well, I was just watching the Olympics with the basketball. Victor Wembanyama is 11 centimetres taller than Mason Cox, which was the only way I could get a gauge on it, just how big Wembanyama is.
That's fascinating.
As Cameron coming through here for the Lions, he's stripped of it, loses it momentarily. And now trying to pick it up. Pendlebury does so cleanly. Shovels out a handball. Crisp gets rid of it to Noble. Kick smothered. And a throw in left forward pocket.
Yeah, they're on the lines. Yeah, we look forward to Wemby making his debut on the MCG at some stage down the track.
My point is just how big he is.
Fascinating.
I don't understand. Where does Wemby come into the game between Collingwood and Brisbane?
I don't mind it. Insert him in. He's a freak. He is. He's a freak.
Wemby's on your mind. I understand.
That's great, Ben.
Where's Bruce when I need him?
Boundary throw.
Needs some supportive co-commentators.
Back and he palms it down. Quick hand pass comes back out towards Nick Dacos. Hand pass to Schultz. He fumbles. Side bottom off the back flank for Collingwood. Handball out in front of McCreary. Clever. Just kicks it into the path of Parker. Sends Collingwood down the wing. Turns it over. And Starcevic takes the intercept mark on the wing.
Well, that was an unforced error from a young player, but at the moment it's all under pressure, isn't it, Rammer? The Lions are really on tonight.
They look quick.
They look sharp.
Energised. Yep. They look, there's a lot of enthusiasm out there with the Lions. Collingwood just look a little bit flat. We say it a bit, like they're just a little bit off their tucker at the moment with their intensity.
The Lions looking to switch it back inside defensive 50. Mark taken by Andrews. Sends it out towards the southern wing. Good kick. Mark taken by Brain. He moves it on long. Looking for McCluggage. Needs it to sit. Close to the boundary line. Gets past by Tell. Trips over his own feet. Has to go back and pick it up. Handball away and a free kick.
There's a trip.
And it'll go to McCluggage.
That's purely accidental.
Yeah, did he trip it?
Yeah, shouldn't have even been paid.
So wide out. That half-forward free kick to McCluggage.
McCluggage looks inside 50. Loman leaps up. He's got it again. Kai Loman with his second towering mark in this opening term.
Well, the athleticism in this Brisbane forward line. You got Loman, you got Cam Rayner, obviously Charlie Cameron, Joe Danaher, then Logan Morris. They are incredibly athletic, this Brisbane forward
Well,
line.
he's listed as 185 too, Kyle Loman. So he's not a 5'10"er. So, yeah, he's a 6'1", and with speed and athleticism.
He's got Wembanyama's hops.
Yes. He got Wemby high as he moves in here, Loman. Drop punt, he's good. He's got a couple in the opening term. And Brisbane are threatening to bust this one open. 6-3-39. The Premiers 1-3-9. And you may only be able to call them that for another 6 weeks or so. It is Brisbane by 30 points, 23 gone opening term.
So, Bolly, I mentioned the last person in a defence. So whether it's your team or the opposition. Now, previous to that, it was Brisbane. Joe Danaher gets a free kick, kicks the goal. This time, Collingwood win the ball in front of us here on the wing. The last person, the last line is a Brisbane player. So that ball goes straight to Starcevic, switches around the other side of the ground into Loman goal.
They're spreading harder. I mean, we spoke about the old timers in the middle at the moment. Pendlebury 2, side bottom 2. Nick Dacos only the 2 possessions at the moment. Ashcroft 8, Neil 7, Zorko 6. It's a dominate. They have 30 more possessions than the Lions at the moment.
Free kick in the middle, going the way of Oscar McInerney. In the bullseye. The Big O puts his boot through it. High ball inside 50. Danaher runs underneath it. Out the back it goes. Noble overruns it. Pendlebury picks it up. Free kick. It'll go to the Pies. And their fan base think they've been a little hard done by.
No, they haven't been. They're just getting outplayed.
So John Noble with the free kick. His dad, of course, spent time at the Brisbane Lions. Noble, long kick up to the wing. Cox stands in front of the pack, brings it down. It goes over and picks it up from 211 centimetres. And the free kick will go to McInerney.
Holding the ball. Incorrect disposal.
The Big O has been exactly that in this opening term.
McInerney, short kick down to half forward, finds Dunkley. Takes the mark, the Bulldogs premiership player, Josh Dunkley, 60 metres out. Kicks a high bomb to the goal square. Danaher reaching for it, no mark. Falls down to Moore, shoots a quick hand pass out the side bottom. He kicks a spiral out to the back flank for Collingwood. Could be coming back. On the bounce, retrieved by Starcevic. Kicks to Loman, he's got it again.
Great kick.
Kyle Loman marks right forward pocket. He's got 2 already, and he's shooting for his 3rd here, all before quarter time.
Well, it's terrific setup behind the ball. So Collingwood win it deep in Brisbane's forward line. Side bottom has to slam the ball on the boot. And you just, 4 Brisbane players just set up behind the ball, just build the old-fashioned wall. Starcevic wins the ball, has a little bit of time. Loman finds space inside forward 50, and Starcevic good enough to hit him up.
For the best opening quarter of the season, Kyle Loman, if he can kick this, he moves in, right-footed drop punt. Misses near side. Behind, so 6-4, Collingwood are 1-3. It is Brisbane by 31 points. And we're only 26 minutes in. Saturday footy on ABC Sport earlier today. Melbourne by 9 goals over the Suns. And GWS by 9 points over Fremantle.
Has kicked 5 goals in a game. Kyle Loman, that was earlier this year against Richmond. Long kick out up towards the wing and punched away a throw in between wing and half forward here for the Lions. If he kicked that, it would have been only the 2nd time in his career he's gone past 3 though.
But his good mate from Ballarat in the team today, young Sharp, who's starting his sub. Waiting for his chance. 16 inside 50s to 4. It's just been a domination.
McInerney palms it down. It spills to Fletcher. Dumps it on the boot. Inside 50 again go the Lions. Bouncing ball. Gathered by Frampton. Tackled by Danaher. Umpire circles. Wants to ball it up. Umpires Rosebery, Gavin, Fleer and Wallace in charge of this game. Brent Wallace.
Up it goes. McInerney wins it down to Rayner. Hand pass out to Dunkley. Dunkley shoots off balance. Getting back more. Saves the day. Marks on the goal line.
A young lad of Terry Wallace.
Yes.
Went to call him Plough and then took a while to get to Terry. You were already in and calling.
Is Moore, who's got it last line of defence. And off he trots. Long kick close to the boundary line. Coming across Andrews. Went to spoil it out of play. McCreary keeps it alive. Hand pass to his own advantage. Shakes Wilmot. Gets a kind Shepherd from side bottom. 2 bounces. Over halfway. Kicks down to half forward. Lipinski couldn't quite get the half volley. Ball spills out to Joyce. Hand pass to Zorko. Back to Joyce. Handball for Brisbane to Ashcroft off the back flank.
He'll kick towards the outer edge of the square. Punched away by Darcy Moore. Spills down to Parker. Kicks Collingwood inside 50. Good kick. Elliott marks on his chest, 45 out.
Well done, Darcy Moore. It's much better, isn't it? Times when he's been criticised this year, it's just been for switching off, losing concentration, allowing the easy outlet kick, but he was right onto it there, caused the spoil. And well done, Will Parker. He was good enough to get the crumb. Spot up Jamie Elliott. Just has to kick this, doesn't he?
Has been a clutch performer in his career. Boot to ball from just inside 50. The drop punt is online. Does it have the legs? It's just tugging a little to the left. It was offline in the end. Minor score. Lions lead by 30 points.
Zorko on the kick out. Goes short and finds Brain, who marks in the back pocket. And too, a short kick to Dunkley. His opposite number stands the mark in Elliott. The two number 5s kicks down the wing, and here's Berry, who marks just inside the boundary line southern side. 28.5 gone opening term. Lions by 30. Partly cloudy day at the G as the twilight action still in the daylight with the yellow Sharon being used. Long kick down the wing. Maynard punches it close to the boundary line and Lohmann paddles it out of bounds. We'll have a throw in just forward of halfway for Brisbane. Marcus in South Melbourne off the SMS. It's maroon, not red. Listen to the Lions song. This is after I described the jumpers earlier. It is most definitely red, the jumper that they're wearing. They do have a maroon jumper, which is their home strip, which they wore on grand final day, but they're wearing the true red jumper today, which is what Fitzroy wore in their latter days.
Loose ball on the wing. Starcevic gathering the footy, gets a handball away to Dunkley. He's set upon quickly. A ball up will come. No, holding the ball. Free kick going the way of Bobby Hill. Dunkley with prior opportunity, couldn't get rid of it. Hill chips it over the top, looking for a leading McStay. Slides into mark. An attacking 4-0 forward here for the Pies. McStay looks long into the pocket. Hoskin Elliott, up he goes, he's got it. His long arms reach up and take the mark in the left forward pocket. Deep in the left forward pocket. The mark set about a metre in, 25 metres out.
Well, he's got to think his way through it here. He's got time. Looks like he's thinking about kicking it straight, Ramo.
No chance.
No, wouldn't have thought so.
Not today's players.
Right foot snap. Hoskin Elliott bends it on goal and bends it true. Collingwood begin the climb back into this match. It's back to 4 goals. 6-4 40 plays, 2-4 16. We're moments away from the quarter-time siren. Adam Ramanauskas, Luke Ball on Saturday footy here on ABC Sport.
Well, Bully comes off a little bit of pressure by Bobby Hill there. He's able to force the holding the ball decision there. And then was patient with the build-up. So he gets it to McStay. And then McStay's patient again, waits for Hoskin Elliott. And it just got over the head of, I think that was
Young Brain.
Brain, I think, yeah, just over his head there. So, good kick, good patience. Certainly needed it with only a couple of seconds remaining in this first quarter.
He did line up, didn't he? Like he was going to kick a drop punt for large periods, and then last minute just turned around, hooked it across the body, and as easy as you like. Quick goal for Hoskin Elliott as Darcy Cameron grabs it out of the way. Kicks it forward hurriedly. There's going to be a free kick here. It's going to go the Pies' way, and Wilmot has given away the free, a shove on McCreery. So McCreery gets it here, Ram.
Top
55, 60 out. He's going to have to kick it.
Get back a little bit further.
Yep. He hasn't gone back all that far, has he? So by McCreery after the quarter-time siren, 6 goals to 2.
There's plenty of power in those legs of his.
In he comes. Big spiral, hasn't quite connected. It's going to land 10 metres short, punched away and out of bounds.
Amazing how many of these young kids just don't know how to kick the torp anymore, Bally.
Brisbane with the fast start here at the G in the grand final rematch. The Lions 6-4 40. They lead Collingwood 2-4 16. So Brisbane by 24 points. 2 goals for Lohmann and for Danaher, and then singles for Neal and McInerney, while for Collingwood 1 each for Quaynor and Hoskin Elliott. Earlier today, Melbourne defeated the Gold Coast by 9 goals. And it was GWS holding on to beat Fremantle by 9 points. So the Giants by 9 points over the Dockers. Now, they're the 2 games in the afternoon time slot. So all eyes on this fixture, the only one running in the twilight Saturday afternoon footy of round 23. The thoughts of Rama and Bawley coming up next. You are listening to Saturday Footy on ABC Sport.
It's the most magical time of the year, right? Footy season. This season you can get your footy live and ad-free on the ABC Listen app. Unbelievable. AFL, NRL, men's, women's. Whatever you fix, we've got you covered. Every goal, try, mark and tackle. Called by ABC Sport's expert commentary team.
A wonderful goal! Game, set, bingo!
100% pure footy, live and ad-free on the ABC Listen app.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Collingwood and the Brisbane Lions. Revenge or repeat? Now Pendlebury tackled by Neal. Dispossessed. Holding the ball, says the umpire. The two-time Brownlow medalist. Lockie Neal still hunting his first flag. He snaps across the body. Didn't quite hit it, but it'll do. It's the game's first goal. Hipwood goes long to his mate Danaher in the pocket. Frampton out of position, gives away the free. Here he goes, Joe, snaps across the body, and Brisbane have the first couple. The Lions in attack mode early.
Here's Ashcroft putting it on the boot, floating it inside 50. Danaher.
And you think back 322 days ago, the Darcy Moore-Joe Danaher matchup was a beauty. I just wonder whether there's still some scars almost from Darcy, because I think he's just going to be too mobile for Billy Frampton.
On the approach, boot to ball, and it is good for Joe. Danaher on the double early in this game.
Bailey forward pocket. High bomb, top of the goal square for Brisbane. Getting back, what a mark. Loman flying through and rips it out of the sky to make it the first 4 for Brisbane. They've established a tone here at the G, and the Lions fans are roaring behind the goals at the punt road end.
McStay launches, getting back. Danaher breaks it up, hits the deck. Hoskin Elliott picks it up. Away to Quaynor, snaps and goals. Collingwood's first and much needed. Stems the bleeding.
McCluggage looks inside 50. Loman leaps up, he's got it again. Kai Loman with his second towering mark in this opening term. Moves in here, Loman. Drop punt, he's good. He's got a couple in the opening term.
McStay looks long into the pocket. Hoskin Elliott, up he goes, he's got it. Right foot snap. Hoskin Elliott bends it on goal and bends it true. Collingwood begin the climb back into this match.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio
ABC Sport Digital.
and on the ABC Listen app.
Off the SMS 0437 774 774. Maureen's here at the G. Pie's been umpired differently to the Lions. Disgraceful. So 8-3 is the free kick count in that opening term to the Lions. I'll send that one to Bawley and Rama on the way there as to whether they've noticed it. Lions by 24 at quarter time.
Just trying to think, has there been any, what have we missed? I mean, I think sometimes the stats don't tell the tale, but when you look at these ones, if you get 30 more possessions than the other team, you're more likely to get more free kicks because you're making the play. And so that's the tale of the tape, isn't it, Raman? Plus 16 contested possessions for the Lions. Plus 32 actual possessions.
But that's the game,
16
right
to
now.
8 inside 50s.
Like plus 16 in the first quarter. And Bawley, you mentioned it in that quarter there. Brisbane has simply just been cleaner with the football.
Yeah, they have.
When the ball has
Sharper.
been in dispute, you see a Brisbane player come through on one grab. And there's no pressure then applied from Collingwood.
Yeah, well, I mean, just finishing off with the stats. I mean, the tackle count 16 to 8 Collingwood's way. Now, it should be that because they've had so much more. The 8 tackles for Brisbane, it's felt like their pressure, though, has been really, really good. So sometimes, the actual numbers don't tell the tale. I'd imagine that we don't have the pressure rating number, but I imagine that it's right up there. But, yeah, they're just their ability to be cleaner around stoppage, especially early there where the footy was hot. And you think about Ashcroft and Neal and surge the ball forward and then lock the ball in. And in the end, I mean, they kick 6 goals forward, don't they, from their 17 entries. So that's a concern for the Pies. We spoke about just how dangerous that Brisbane forward line looks, both aerially and then, their mid-sized players and ground-level players with Loman starting the game really well. Rain have been a bit quiet, hasn't really had a massive impact yet. And Bailey as well. So, yeah, the midfield battle's interesting, isn't it? They've persisted with side bottom on Neal. Dacos, it hasn't really got going. He certainly hasn't. Only had the 2 handballs, Nick Dacos, so it hasn't been a hard tag. So you'd expect him to get going a bit this quarter. And the ruck battle's really interesting as well. McInerney on top at the moment.
The other one, just to finish, is Brisbane had 7 marks inside their forward 50 in that quarter. They've got to get a glove on them, Collingwood, early in this quarter.
Brisbane leading by 24 points. Second quarter underway. Saturday Arvo footy here on ABC Sport. And a secondary ball up in the middle. Corbin Middlemass, Ben Cameron, Adam Ramanauskas, Luke Ball calling all of the action. Up it goes. McInerney laying it down for Neil. Leaves it behind. McInerney gets down, knocks it out. Onto it, McCluggage. Free kick. High tackle. It'll go to McCluggage. Re-signed in that long-term deal earlier this year. Kicks dangerously to Brain. Finds him though. Brain can wheel and go. Kicking towards half forward. Noble bobs up. Intercept marks for the Pies. Feeds the handball to the runner Maynard. He'll poke it over the top. Short kick for Elliott. Marks neutral territory on the wing. Chips it forward. Crisp runs on. Handball to Nick Dacos. High half forward for Collingwood. Tries to kick off the outside of the boot. Spills down Noble. Onto the footy. Still half forward for Collingwood. Wheels and kicks to full forward. McStay goes up and marks.
Good hands. Good strong hands there by McStay. Knew the pressure was coming from behind, but just good enough to take that strong mark, and Collingwood certainly need this to start the second quarter.
Well, you go back to the centre of the ground. I thought it was a poor option by Hugh McCluggage to wheel. I mean, he wins the free kick after a centre bounce. You know you've got 666, and we've spoken about Brisbane's forward line. Get it down there. He went wide to Brain, who then coughed it up, going wide again, and that's led to this. It just meant their defenders were all out of position, and that's led to this shot at goal from McStay.
161 games for Brisbane. Now up high, and he drives it through to start the second. Back to 3 goals the margin. 6-4-40 plays 3-4-22. 2 minutes into the second term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball.
Well, it's exactly the start the Pies needed. So it was a tough first quarter for the Pies. Only had the 6 scoring shots, but Brisbane were really dominating. So we see Jared Berry just in the rooms there getting checked. We're not sure what that is at this stage, but we'll work that out shortly. But they're going down into the rooms.
I might need to run down to the boundary. Cross. It's been not a lot's gone right really for the Pies since the bye, has it? But certainly Dan McStay coming back into the team and looking really fit and strong. Okay, the possessions and the goals will come, but that's been a huge positive.
McInerney palms it down clean, but straight to side bottom. Gets the break for Collingwood. Kicks to half forward. Schultz crashes back into the pack. No mark. Falls to Zorko. Schultz tackles him, and a ball up half forward for Collingwood. Well, that is interesting. It looks as if on our computers anyway too that Jared Berry's not only off the ground into the rooms but
subbed out.
Yeah, he's been subbed out. So Sharp's about to end of the game here from the stoppage. Dunkley's clearing kick is smothered by Elliott and ricochets out of bounds. So a throw in 35 out from the Pies goal. Ned Long the sub for Collingwood. He hasn't been used as yet, but Harry Sharp about to end of the game. His first since round 11.
Whether it's Corp, a head knock for Berry. He looked a bit sort of dazed. It didn't look like he was hobbling or there was any sort of injury like that. So we'll wait and see.
From the throw-in, Cox brings it to the front, picking it up crisp. Handball away to Elliott, to Pendlebury, trying to get around a couple. Handball to Crisp, loses it. Under pressure, might have been held close to the line. And it's still in play, but we'll get a ball up just in the field of play. Left forward pocket here for the Pies. Brisbane by 18 points. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Up it goes. McInerney grabs it out of the ruck. Kick smothered. Extracted by Pendlebury. Hand pass into the path of McCluggage. Knocks it away back to McInerney. And he's dispossessed. Ball spills out of bounds. Earlier today, Melbourne by 9 goals over the Suns. And the Giants by 9 points over Fremantle. Hamstring tightness for Brisbane is for Berry. Sorry. Hamstring tightness for Berry. That's the word from Brisbane Lions on Twitter. Jeez, subbed out of the game early in the second term. Boundary throw-in comes to Schultz. Got a hand pass off his knees. Away to Pendlebury. Snaps goalward right to the line. And competing there, McStay and Joyce. And Joyce goes into the goalpost and it's left shaking furiously at the punt road end of the ground. They're behind for Collingwood. And it is the Lions who lead it by 17 points. 4.5 gone in the second term.
Zorko with the kick in. Runs to the pocket. Pinpoints a pass. Good kick for Dunkley. Comes infield to Bailey. Kick 2. Wonderful goals on grand final day. Kicks the Lions up to the wing. Mark taken by Cameron. This is Charlie Cameron. So Cameron's out there today. Long kick around the wing, up towards a contest, unable to mark Howe. Spills down in front. Pendlebury gives it off to Howe. Now on the half-back flank, the Pies, side bottom, sweeping handball, just finds Noble, loops it over the top. Nick Dacos is away and running, arching his back, getting around one, getting around two, running to 40, the little magic man! He shows us what he can do! And they stand around the G to enjoy it. Lions by 11 points, 6-4-40 plays, 5-4-29. He's a marvel.
Wow, it's terrific running and aggressive running by Nick Dacos. Knew he had the legs to outrun both Lockie Neal and I think it's Joyce is the other one that's chasing. But I guess you've got to have the courage to do that as well. A lot of other players would have just put that on the boot, but he took that in the middle of the ground. And hey, this is why Collingwood can't change Nick Dacos into this inside midfielder. There's the exact reason. He gets the ball on the outside and he takes the game on so well, as good as anybody in the competition.
No better side in the game. Running bounces and the goal on the end of it. Nick Dacos, what a moment as Cox palms it down into the Partners side bottom. Hurried kick forward, Starcevic leads Hill to the footy. Hurried kick back the other way. Archie hits up and marks. Inside the middle of the G for Brisbane. Kicks deep to full forward. Moore's down there, punches it away. Loose footy inside Brisbane's forward 50. Late to arrive, Pendlebury, and in the end it's socketed out of play by Maynard, and the ump says it's all okay. Down to the throw-in.
Yeah.
35 out from the Lions' goal at the City end. So Brisbane by just 11 points. They did lead by 31 earlier in the game. 11-point lead, 7 gone second term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Umpire brings it in. Cox and McInerney both with hands on it. Down to the front. Lohman bursting onto it. Runs straight into Lipinski. Into a brick wall and a ball up to come. Right to burst his way through, Kai Lohman. Umpire puts it aloft. Cox palms it down to himself. Now gets his hands free. Handball away. Lohman steals it. Back with it, the Lions in the pocket. Snap comes from Sharp, out of bounds on the full. So the Lions sub into the action. Jared Berry out with hamstring tightness. Lions by 11, Saturday footy here on ABC Sport.
I noticed Nigel off the SMS Rammer wants to take me on the colour of the Brisbane Lions jumper.
It's on.
He seems to believe it is maroon and has sent multiple messages.
You are firm on red.
I'm firm on red, but look, I'm not going to get into the shades and the colour wheel.
I think we need to sort of go to the books and find out what the colour is.
I more operate on, remember the connector texters?
Yes.
If I had one of those, I'd be picking the red one, not the maroon one to draw this. The maroon one would be the home jumper. As the footy's worked its way up towards the wing and there's a pack which forms and the ump says, I'll have it. Ball up right on halfway.
I immediately went to check what were listed as Fitzroy's home colours and it did say red, yellow and blue.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. And it is the old Fitzroy jumper.
Yeah, well, the really, really old Fitzroy jumper was, of course, was maroon back in the day, just to confuse everyone. But this is the latter years of Fitzroy, 1996, the proper red. We've got another stoppage here on the wing, so you've missed nothing there. Brisbane by 11 points, 8.5 gone in the second term. The Lions 6-4-40, Collingwood 4-5-29, an 11-point lead for Brisbane.
Cameron, beautiful tap. That's Darcy Cameron down to Pendlebury. Kicks to half forward, sport away. Leicester doing well, socket on by McCreary, out of play. Throwing coming left half forward here for the Pies.
I'm just enjoying Nigel coming back at you, Cor, because I know you love being right.
I thought the jumpers and the colours and the description was my thing, but obviously I might just have to retire it. We didn't think we'd get this on a non-visual medium on radio, but here we are, disputing the shades of red and maroon. From the restart comes in Dunkley. Hand pass to McCluggage, kicks down the wing. There's a free for a hold. It's going Hipwood's way. Eric Hipwood, by the way, his parents got married in the grandstand at Moorabbin. So, big St Kilda fan, born in St Kilda. Moved to the sunny coast as a 3-year-old as Hipwood sends the kick down towards half forward.
What was it called, Boy? The animal enclosure down there, wasn't it?
Between the two races. Not sure that's where they would have said I do.
Punched away by Howe, out of bounds. So a throw in here, 60 out from the Brisbane goal at the City end. 11-point lead for the Lions, 10 gone second term.
Saturday footy here on ABC Sport. Rucks lock up again. In front, Cameron bringing it towards the boundary line. Onto it, Wilmot. Handball away to Dunkley. Half forward for the Lions. Into the pocket, looking for Hipwood. Overshoots him. Out the back it goes. Throwing coming. 5 around from the behind post.
It was great defence by Jeremy Howe because there was space in front there, but he got so close to Hipwood. And Hipwood just couldn't release, just couldn't get that metre of separation. So, terrific there by Jeremy Howe.
Day giving way for night. Twilight football at the MCG. The cradle of the game. Slapping it down quickly towards Lipinski, Darcy Cameron. And Lipinski has to apply a tackle. Another ball upcoming. 30 out from the attacking goal for the Lions.
Up it goes. McInerney knocks it down, side bottom, a little fumble, bobbles away to Josh Dacos. Hand pass is good to Vitale. He got it out after catching it in the same motion to Lipinski. Handball to Quaynor, and here's the handball chain up and running for the Pies. Gives it to McCreary, right on halfway, cuts inboard, burns off. Wilmot, he's run too far. The umpire rolls out the travel call. It's coming back to Darcy Wilmot. His late father Grant actually played for Collingwood in the number 44 that he now sports for Brisbane. Gives it to McCluggage, kicks down to half forward, no mark for Danaher, got it out to Neal, hand pass to Ashcroft, handball to Lohman, centering kick, McInerney spills it, top of the goal square, Lipinski clears for Collingwood to centre half back.
Just dumps it on the boot, now Bobby Hill's onto it, away he goes, trying to knock it on, doing well, Froggy Lester. Sticks a hand out, keeps it going for Brisbane forward. Off to Fletcher, now Zorko. Long kick to full forward. 2-on-1, Darcy Cameron gets back. Defensive mark for Collingwood.
Just stiffened up, haven't they, defensively, the Pies. Both behind the ball, but it's a big one-on-one contest all over the ground at the moment.
Darcy Cameron, long exiting kick beyond the defensive 50. Side bottom drops the mark, follows up, robes his own footy, kicks dangerously towards centre half back, spills to ground level, Crispy's there, handball to Pendlebury, to Josh Dacos, to Moore, fumble, Brisbane swarming, they get involved again, strong tackle coming on Dunkley, and a ball up, centre half forward here for Brisbane. They lead by 11 points, 12 played in the second.
Paul from Mount Dunedin off the SMS. I disagree with both of you gentlemen. It's clearly scarlet, the jumper that the Brisbane Lions are wearing. We've got a ball up centre half forward here for the Lions, and we'll do that all again. Jack from Sandringham, a little bit of trivia for us. Fitzroy were once the Gorillas. They certainly were back in the early days. Good calling, chaps. Thanks, Jack. From the restart, comes out here to Sharp. He gets a kick, tumbles a goal. To Lutz Howe. He thought it was going to hop up to him. It rolled on underground, or along the ground rather, and in the end goes through for a behind. So minor score. Brisbane by 12 points, 12.5 gone in the second term. This is Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Collingwood have kicked the last 3 in the game after falling 31 behind.
He's the 2K time trial record holder, isn't he, Harry Strupp, the draft camp? So he'll appreciate getting a bit more game time, albeit in unfortunate circumstances.
It was around 5:45.
I think it was 5:29. I saw it this week because they were comparing. They were saying how would they shape up, post Olympics.
That is so fast.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. It is humming. Yep. St. Pat's boy originally got gifted a athletic scholarship to Caulfield Grammar. As I said, living with his good mate Kai Lohman now in Brisbane.
I'm happy with my 5:29 Ks when I go for a little trotters. Coming away with it, McCreary. Handball for the Pies. He's there and picked up quickly by Wilmot. He's caught. Side bottom's got him.
Yeah, they've lifted.
Yeah, they have.
They've lifted around the contest, Collingwood.
Well, this guy's lifted them too. I mean, for all the talk around, how can we re-sign the oldies? It's been side bottom and Pendlebury this quarter.
Side bottom kicking long to half forward. Crisp goes up to mark. 51 metres out.
And I think the other one is Jeremy Howe in defence. I think he's had a terrific quarter.
Former Lion himself was unfairly listed as the steak knives in the trade. Started this great game streak at the Lions. Kicks inside 50. Launching out at Hoskin Elliott. Comes down in front. Wilmot wrapped up. Ball up here for the Pies. 30 out from their attacking goal. Brisbane by 12.
Yep.
Hoskin Elliott a lot in that situation they do because they love his run and jump at the ball.
Forward 50 stoppage, restarts, comes down the way of the Pies. They'll shoot goalward hurriedly.
It's Nick Dacos.
And it's going to go in the book for Nick Dacos.
That is freaky.
He's got a couple. And Dacos, having kicked a superb running goal, he kicks one out of traffic here. 5-5-35 Collingwood. Brisbane 6-5-41. The Lions by 6 points, 14 gone in the second.
Bally, that's outstanding from Nick Dacos there. He's got his direct opponent in Dane Zorko right there. Elliott puts a little bit of block on. There's a handover to Ryan Lester. Then it's just a
Half a
grab.
metre, wasn't it? Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's a great tap. It's a great tap because it's that little pocket of space there Cameron finds. Dacos just gets into it on the move. Leicester's right there, but that's what we talk about, the one grab players, whether it's at ground level or off a contest there. Dacos, one grab off the contest, onto the boot goal.
They've lifted, haven't they? I'd imagine that some of those numbers would have been in lights up on the board at quarter time, and they've responded, this Pies team. 3 goals to zip for the quarter.
So Dacos with a couple out of the middle. McCluggage, a high up and under. Comes down amongst a big pack. They fight after it. Dunkley slaps it on. Quaynor picks it up, gets it on the boot. His kick knocked away by Lipinski. Out towards the wing it goes. Onto it is Brain. Brisbane back in possession. Handball away to Lohman. He's caught quickly. Umpire wants to ball it up. Great Southern stand wing.
So Collingwood have gone inside forward 54 times this quarter for 4 scores. 3 goals, 1.
Darcy Cameron winning the tap down. Nick Dacos out after it, shoveling out a handball towards Crisp. On all fours, the lines are there, they pinch him. McCluggage dumps it on his right boot, kicks to half forward, and Moore's there to mark. Has it on the half-back flank. Here for the Pies.
4 in a row for Collingwood in the game as Moore kicks inside the centre square. Quaynor marks. Hand pass to Parker. Long kick out to half forward. McCreary waits for it. Bounces. He's onto it now. McCreary. Hand pass to Hoskin Elliott. Right on the 50. Kicks inside the attacking arc. Cocks the target. Getting back Dunkley. Breaks it up. Good spoil.
Oh, he did well.
Follows up for Brisbane. Clears the defensive arc. And Bytel is able to pick it off for the Pies. Gives it to Nick Dacos. Kicks back inside 50. Pendlebury spills the mark.
Now he goes after it. Pendlebury unable to gather it the first time, and they'll pile on. We'll get a ball up 48 metres out from the attacking goal for the Pies. They've got this game how they like it looking. Umpire puts it up. Darcy Cameron slapping it to Crisp. Off to Nick Dacos. He fires on goal and misses. Gee, he is flaming at the moment. He's more than running hot.
Yeah, well, his play is that high forward, the permanent forward runner. To your point, they've got him out. He started in the centre, but they've got him out. And he's playing as that forward roll-up, as that spare mid. And he's just confusing his direct opponent.
Wilmot on the kick-out, takes a lot of ground, kicks against the boundary line. Fletcher hangs it inside the boundary, but the boundary ump says, nope, it's gone out on the full.
It certainly looked out. So one boundary umpire said no, the other said no, that's on the full.
And the guy that pays the free overrules. So Noble goes long inside the forward pocket. Cox, no marks, spills down to Wilmot. He's tackled out of bounds. So throw in forward pocket here for the Pies. They've kicked the last 4 in the game after falling 51 down. It is Brisbane by 5 points. 18-minute mark. Second term, Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Lions by less than a goal. They did lead by as many as 5 goals at one point. Pendlebury gathers the footy off to Nick Dacos, runs into traffic. Handball a turnover. McCluggage, handball away to Bailey, lines with it, leaving it behind his Sharp, allows in the Pies. Now they swarm in the forward pocket. Getting involved though, Brain comes to help out. Crisp goes in, umpire wants it. Ball up left forward pocket, here for Collingwood. Kicked 3 goals to zip in this second quarter. Kicked the last 4 goals in the game. Darcy Cameron slaps it to the back. Crisp gathers it. Shovels out a handball. Sharp. At fullback. Look out. Just gets a kick away. Clearing kick for the Lions towards defensive 50. Picking it up Hipwood. And now they're away the Lions.
Gives it to Lohman. Lohman's hand pass inside to Rayner. He's tackled and taken the ground. Noble and Parker lock him up on the wing.
Well, he hasn't touched it yet.
He had to
in this quarter, Cam Rayner.
Geez, he had the shape corridor then, didn't he, Lohman? He had them queuing up. Just the pressure, though. Perceived and real here for the Pies. They've dialed it right up.
Darcy Cameron grabs it out of the ruck, hands it out in front of Nick Dacos. Sockers down to half forward. Schultz bowled over with the footy. Pack forms around him and a ball up. So we're halfway through this second quarter, or 19 minutes into the term. Brisbane by 5 points, but Collingwood with all the momentum. They've kicked the last 4 goals.
Danaher in the ruck, trying to take it out of the ruck. Drops it to his feet, coming through Bobby Hill. Right on the arc of 50 for the Pies. And another ball up. It's their attacking 50. Just 5 points. Hit the first 4 goals of the game. Kicked 6 of the first 7, Brisbane. All of a sudden, Collingwood right back in it. Darcy Cameron takes it out of the ruck. Snaps inside 50. Pile driving tackle from Andrews on Bobby Hill. managed to look after his head. It was the modern day version of a pole driving tackle, looked after him.
Jared Berry out of the game with hamstring tightness early in this second term. Pies yet to pull the trigger on their sub. From the restart, Nick Dacos got a hand pass out in front of Elliott, knocks it to McCreary. His handball finds Bytel, gives it back to Elliott. Short kick to Parker.
Smart kick.
And Will Parker marks right half forward, 45 out.
Yeah, really smart kick. They surged the ball sideways inside their forward 50, Collingwood, until they found a player that was out. That happened to be Jamie Elliott. Then the pressure came again. But Elliott was composed enough then just to chip sideways again and find Will Parker.
The young man will have to kick it all of 50 from right half forward. The former cricketer, he shoots goalward, he misses everything. Wildly out of bounds on the full, so no score. 21 minutes gone, second turn. Brisbane by 5 points. We're time on in the second.
Danaher in the back pocket. Long kick up to the wing. Marked there by Hipwood. Lines on the logo. Sweeps it away to Rayner. Bursts through a tackle. Says, get off me. The bounce doesn't come back. Has to go and pick it up. Now feeds it forward. Logan Morris wide out. Inside 50 for the Lions. Centering kick. Can't find a target. Moore crawling after it. Maynard slaps it out. Collingwood in possession. Noble. Handball away towards Pendlebury. Lateral kick looking for Schultz. It'll skid away from him. And Schultz will gather it.
His hand pass is swatted down by Wilmot, ends up out of play. Right on the wing, so Brisbane by 5 points. Collingwood have kicked the last 4 goals. And foreshadows starting to appear on the players as the floodlights are on. This fixture in the twilight as day turns to night or early evening in Melbourne. 13 degrees at the moment for the boundary throwing. Danaher knocks it down to Neil, knocks it on further to Archie. Brisbane with it. Hand pass to McCluggage, gives it to Brain, high up and under the half forward. And Loman, he was worried about Howe, and Howe had eyes only for the footy, takes the intercept mark.
Still one handball for the quarter for Lachie Neale. It's working that match up there for the Pies. It shows, doesn't it? I mean, he's such a barometer for them.
Howe goes short to Dacos, onto Noble, kicks around the boundary line and misses the kick. It tumbles out, trying to come, and the knock on John Noble. Does a lot of things well, but just missed that kick there and a throwing to come. Saturday footy here on ABC Sport. Round 23. Earlier on it was Melbourne over the Gold Coast and GWS over Fremantle. Coming away with it, McCluggage from the throw-in. Handball to no one in particular. Side bottom tracking it. Worrying him out of it though. McCluggage wins it back. Off to Morris. Long kick inside 50 for Brisbane. Parker and Cameron. Charlie goes after it. Sockers to his own advantage. Gathers in the pocket. Handball misses Sharp. Sharp runs and gathers. Handball back to Charlie Cameron. Hooks around the body. Maynard gathers at fullback. His handball errant. Able to gather at side bottom. And he'll go back to Frampton in the goal square.
Frampton handball to side bottom. Handball to Maynard. Up against the boundary line. Runs from the back pocket to half-back. Short kick finds Noble. Collects on the half volley. Big fend off. Goes to ground. Gets back to his feet, Noble. Now just steps around McCluggage. Still with it, Noble. High kick out to the wing, and that'll find Darcy Cameron. Nice bit of work from John Noble.
Yeah, he's had a good quarter. 7 possessions.
Darcy Cameron goes short to Nick Dacos. What a quarter he's had.
Yeah, this will be 10 for Nick.
He's kicked the last 2 goals of the game. Waxes with his brother Josh here. Short kick finds him. Lions by 5 points. 23 gone in the second term.
Well, they had Jasper Fletcher going and Nick Dacos in that first quarter. It's now Archie.
Josh Dacos goes long inside 50. Cocks in from the side. Spills out the back. Starcevic. A floater back towards the wing. Nobody there. Coming off the bench, Big McInerney. Maynard has to knock it away to the advantage of Noble. Off to Josh Dacos. Handball tumbles out. Throwing on the wing. Saturday footy here on ABC Sport. Great to have you with us.
Hugh McCluggage comes off for a much-needed rest by the looks of it. He's the one that's keeping them in it, to be honest. He's had 10 possessions himself. 2 clearances, 3 tackles. Needs a few of his mates to get going here.
McInerney just palms it forward. Nick Dacos tracking after it, gathers the footy. He's tackled quickly by Dunkley. Ball comes free. Dunkley picks it up. Now the Lions in possession through Rayner. Handball infield for Neil. Handball back to Rayner. Back to Neil. Well worked. A little triangle. Neil's kick a turnover. Maynard defensively marks for the Pies.
Hand pass to Josh Dacos. He kicks down the wing to Schultz. Marks plays on immediately. Long kick inside 50. Hoskin Elliott bursts through his hands. Leicester right there with him. Bowls over Hoskin Elliott. Wins the footy. Leicester gives it to Andrews.
He's in trouble
And Hoskin Elliott tackles him out of play.
Oh, no. He's trying to fight that tackle, Harris Andrews. That's holding the ball in my book, regardless of the boundary line's there or not.
That's holding the ball in every book.
Yeah.
It's an interesting decision from Leicester, who gave it to Andrews.
I mean, that's, yeah.
Oh, just sold him straight into trouble with a man that he'd just beaten. Clearly they're ready to tackle.
Lions still by 5 points. McInerney palms it down. Brain, handball away to Ashcroft. Coughs it up. Schultz onto it. Handball to Lipinski. Back beyond the attacking arc. Noble kicks inside 50. And the mark is taken by guess who?
Well, it's work rate by Nick Dacos this quarter, Bally. Now, he's got out of the contest a lot better. This season we're seeing Nick play so much inside the contest. This second quarter particularly, he's using his legs and getting outside. Jasper Fletcher's back with that matchup.
Wants to go really short for Schultz on the half volley. Can't take the mark. The Lions win it back. Fletcher. Handball away to Kalachi. Back to Fletcher. Long kick to Howe on the wing. Intercept marks for the Pies. They lead it by 5 points, the Lions.
Goes short to Josh Dacos. Across the ground, middle of the G. Kicks to the hot spot at centre half forward, and mark taken by Andrews comes floating through. 26 minutes gone, second turn.
That's got to be play on. That's gone 6 metres.
And short to Sharp, and Sharp with a long kick across the half-back line to Joyce. Joyce short kick to Ashcroft.
It's probably the one rule we've never been able to officiate perfectly. Like the distance in the kick. We know it's 15 metres, but umpires, for whatever reason...
I don't know, Rammer. I feel like there's a few rules that we haven't really...
Come on.
Goes back to Joyce. Joyce with a long kick down the wing, and Darcy Cameron takes the intercept mark.
All those other rules have changed. The distance of a kick to a mark has really never changed.
It went from 10 to 15.
Did it?
Yeah, probably about 15 years ago.
Long time.
Short kick to Josh Dacos, switches on. Collingwood working out the members' side now. Howe, long kick out to Noble. Short kick finds side bottom. Marks between wing and half forward. 3 minutes before half-time. Lions by 5 points. And side bottom goes laterally to Howe, who marks just in front of the logo broadcast wing.
Howe kicks inside attacking 50 for Elliott. Getting across, doing a good job. Wilmot punches it out. The throw in right on the elbow of 50 in the boundary line.
Oh, it's just been a complete turnaround this quarter from the Pies. Had 25 more possessions this quarter themselves. Turned it up, turned it around the contest. Had 22 tackles as well. So really, I mean, we know that that's where it almost starts and stops with this Collingwood team. Off the back of pressure.
Lions by 5 points still. Collingwood with the last 4 goals of the game, but we've had a stalemate for the last 12 minutes of this match. It's been tight and tough. Clear and kick coming from Sharp. Good mark, Logan Morris. Right there with him is Jeremy Howe, and Morris will have a free kick or a mark between wing and halfback.
Youngest man on the ground, Logan Morris, the only teenager out there. Rising star nom from back in round 15. Kicks down the wing. Rayner flies for it. No mark. Spills out the back. Darcy Cameron skids in to collect the footy. He's taken high by McInerney. Free kick for Cameron. Get it on the back flank. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Corbin Middlemass, Ben Cameron, Adam Ramanauskas, Luke Ball. 2002 Ram, by the way, was that rule changed? 10 to 15 metres for a mark.
That's 22 years ago.
Yeah. Ugly kick down the wing, and in the end it's out of bounds on the full, so free kick for Brisbane.
Was playing at the time, didn't even know about it.
McCluggage with a high ball to half forward. Up goes Howe, and a high mark again. Not nearly any of his best, but pretty impressive as he goes up with those hops to mark.
We just take it for granted. Jeremy Howe.
Half-back flank. Long kick from McStay. Good hands.
Strong.
Takes a nice mark. So Dan McStay, who's playing his 5th game back from that ACL injury that cruelly saw him miss the premiership glory. Sends it to half forward. Big pack form. Spills down in front. Noble picks it up. Spins in a tackle. Gets a handball out. Loose footy on the wing. Picking it up, Fletcher. He's tackled quickly. And a ball upcoming between wing and half forward for the Pies. Still Collingwood by 5.
And still time in this quarter, Benny. There's a minute to go, so both teams can still score here.
Darcy Cameron palms it down to Lipinski. Hand pass to Pendlebury's handball is knocked down and out of play.
Just spoke about Collingwood's pressure. I mean, we lauded the Lions' clean hands in the first quarter. They look fumbly, haven't they, this quarter? All of them. Even their good players, Neil, the cluggage there, all down to Collingwood's pressure rating.
They have not had a goalless quarter in a first half since round 1 against Fremantle. So that was their only one of the year. The second term they went goalless there against the Dockers. Hurried kick forward here from the Pies. Loose footy though picked up in the middle of the ground. Rayner clean. Hand pass away to Sharp. Hurried kick forward. And Howe's back to take the intercept mark. He's got it fullback for Collingwood. Pies trail by 5. 30 minutes gone, second term.
Now with the long kick to Nick Dacos on the wing. Goes short to brother Josh. He gives it off to Parker. Kick charge down on the wing. Trying to pick it up quickly by Tell. He can't do so. Josh Dacos puts a boot into it. Coming through Rayner. Handball a turnover. Quaynor there for the Pies. Handball to Nick Dacos. Slick hands over the shoulder. Off to Parker. Southern wing for the Pies. Bytel goes short. Mark taken by Hill.
Quick, Bobby, quick.
Time will expire if he doesn't go quickly. Gets around his man. Sells some candy. Chips it short. Turnover. Zorko marks. And that will do it. And it feels every bit like the grand final of last year. It is tight and tough. 5 points is the lead, the way of the Lions at half-time. 6-5-41 plays 5-6-36. The goal kickers for Brisbane, Lohman and Danaher both with 2 singles going the way of Neil and also McInerney. While for Collingwood there, 5 goals have come through. Nick Dacos with a couple, and then Will Hoskin-Elliott, Dan McStay and Isaac Quaynor.
Goalless quarter for the Brisbane Lions, their first one in any game of footy since round 8 earlier in the year. Peter in Kew off the SMS, one of the worst exhibitions of umpiring I've seen. Disgraceful. So we must be taking in a different game. I haven't noticed the umpires quite as much, but the Collingwood fans are filthy.
I mean, if you were to be cynical, Corb,
yep.
I know that they would pay it at the MCG comments last week.
Yes.
I don't know.
There you go.
I mean, let's not go down that path. Yeah, they missed a few that quarter, 50-50, so I didn't notice it in the first quarter.
I haven't noticed the umpires at all, really.
Yeah. Tom in St Albans off the SMS. You're missing one small detail. The old Fitzroy jumper had the FFC logo on the front, not a lion. Sorry, Nigel, I'm with Corby. Red, just checked the Foxtel Go app, enjoying the call after the gym. Went on to say, love the connector pen analogy. I've still got disagreement coming from Eric saying, look, the song says maroon, blue and gold, so we might just put this one to bed. And no name, no pack drill on this one, but Corby and Ben offer freshen up a little bit rusty.
Yeah,
Ben,
fair.
Ben stuck on Wemby, Corby stuck on the jumper colours.
No, that's fair.
I caught a goal before that I didn't actually see. So I think we're not going too bad first one back.
I don't think it's rust. I think we don't know whether it's day or night.
Oh, jeez. Wow. All right, now we got to half time. That's the first port of call. So 5 points is Brisbane's lead. The thoughts of Adam Ramanaskas and Luke Ball here on ABC Sport.
Bally, really a tale of 2 quarters there. I think Brisbane off to an absolute heater in that first quarter. The first 4 goals of the game all came from Brisbane. So they rushed out to a 4-goal lead, and that was on the back of contested football. That was on the back of clearance. That was marks inside forward 50. Then the second quarter, Collingwood turned it around. That's off the back of contested football. That's off the back of tackles. So they ramped up their pressure. What Brisbane were really dominating in that first quarter, Collingwood clearly identified at quarter time, identified the problem, and they went to work at it. Contested football in that second quarter, Collingwood +7. Tackles in that second quarter, Collingwood +6. Nick Dacos was a real difference in that quarter, 14 disposals and 2 goals. But it was his work outside of the contest, which I think we became accustomed to over the first couple of years of his footy. This year he's been more inside the contest. So he started half forward on a couple of occasions that quarter, and just his run and his courage to run and take players on with the ball. And then that second goal he kicks is really at the work because he's on the move. He's the only player on the move at an inside forward 50 contest. So a terrific quarter by Nick Dacos. So the game now, it's evenly poised. We talk about, 5 points at the margin, where it looked like in that first quarter Brisbane were certainly going to run away with the game. Collingwood have recalibrated what they needed to do. And as good as they were in that second quarter, I still thought Brisbane were able just to hold up. Okay, they weren't as clean as they were in the first quarter, but to only allow 3 goals, where Collingwood, we thought they dominated it, but 3 goals is a good result if you're Brisbane.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, felt like a lot more of that finals type. You mentioned it, Benny. A lot more like the grand final arm wrestle. But yeah, Collingwood, that pressure really, that quarter, that was the thing that stood out. You mentioned Nick Dacos. He had some mates. Yeah, I thought his brother was really good as well. Josh had 10. John Noble had 12 possessions for the quarter. You noticed him. He's playing on the wing a bit more. It's interesting with Parker and the young players going back. Quaynor and Noble have spent a lot more time higher up the ground, and both have had an impact today. And then I mentioned Pendlebury and Sidebottom. I mean, you just don't write champions off, do you? They looked they were quiet in the first quarter. I think the Lions midfielders got the jump on them, particularly Neil and Ashcroft. But yeah, Sidebottom. And I spoke about the challenge of Sidebottom, who we know did a great job on Errol Gordon last week, didn't he? Play on the ring. Well, going to an inside mid and one obviously of the calibre of Lachie Neale is a whole different challenge. But I thought he turned the tables that quarter. He was magnificent. He had 9 possessions himself, and I thought really got Collingwood going in that first 10 minutes. And Lachie Neale only had the 2 handballs for the quarter. No, sorry, he ended up with 4, got a couple late. So on balance, if you look at that matchup at half time, Sidebottom's had 13 possessions, 6 tackles, and Lachie Neale's only had 11. And he's had 5 clearances, but a lot of those were under pressure. Yeah, so
goal early.
And he kicked that first goal. So, really fascinating battle. Full credit to the old champs from Collingwood for turning it around that quarter. And you mentioned Jeremy Howe as well behind the ball. Yeah, he had a really strong quarter as well. And I thought Darcy Cameron started to get back into the game as well after McInerney loomed as the dominant ruckman in that first quarter. So yeah, full credit to the Pies. Responded. Like a good team, a champion team does when challenged at quarter time. And we've got a real contest, haven't we? We've got a really, really sort of finals-like contest here in this second half coming up.
Goalless second term from the Brisbane Lions after leading this game by 51 points late in the opening quarter. So the Pies were the last 4 goals of the game. Your thoughts up the SMS 0437 774 774 is the SMS number. Earlier today, 2 games already completed. Melbourne by 9 goals over the Gold Coast Suns, and GWS by 9 points over Fremantle. That game a little close towards the back end, and then Jesse Hogan kicking what proved to be the match-sealing goal for the Giants on the back of a 50-metre penalty. Half-time here, Brisbane by 5 points. Second half not far away, but in the meantime, let's get the latest from the ABC newsroom.
ABC News, good afternoon, I'm Sam Wilkinson. A global shortage in IV fluids has prompted Victoria's biggest health service to conserve its supply. Alexandra Alvaro reports.
Manufacturing issues and unexpected increases in demand have caused a shortage of IV fluids worldwide. In a letter to staff, the Chief Operating Officer at Victoria's Monash Health asked staff to adopt strategies to conserve IV fluids. They include not using the fluids to flush wounds and eyes and reviewing patients' prescribed IV infusions. It's estimated the shortage will last until at least the end of the year, with a national urgent response group agreeing to meet weekly until the situation improves.
Aboriginal leaders in the Northern Territory say they still feel the shock of the intervention 27 years after its instigation by the Howard government in 2007. Former Prime Minister John Howard has defended the Northern Territory emergency response, which continued until 2012 under subsequent Labor governments. NT Police Commissioner Michael Murphy acknowledged its discriminatory effects in his apology at Gama for police injustices. Cultural leader Lapulung Damarangi of the Djambarrnpu Clan Nation want the federal government to consult with leaders in communities about future policies targeting them. Former West Australian opposition leader Mia Davies has been pre-selected by the National Party to contest the new federal seat of Bullwinkle at the next election. Last year, Ms Davies announced she was stepping down as WA's Nationals leader and would resign as an MLA for the Central Wheatbelt at the 2025 state election. The Liberal Party will pre-select its candidate for the seat later today, and yet Labor is yet to find its candidate. Ms Davies says the attack on WA by federal Labor, including the ban on live sheep exports, was the tipping point that prompted her to enter federal politics. Champion racehorse Black Caviar has died a day before her 18th birthday. The mare captivated the nation with 25 wins from 25 starts, taking nearly $8 million in prize money before her retirement in 2013. Among her biggest wins was the Diamond Jubilee Stakes at Royal Ascot in the UK in 2012. Trainer Mick Price has been in the industry for nearly 5 decades and says he does not expect there'll be another horse like Black Caviar.
People love heroes in any sport, anywhere, anytime. They love the heroes. And she was a hero of the sport. Why is Lionel Messi iconic? Because people love sport, people love achievement, and you couldn't get a better achiever as a sprinting racehorse than Black Caviar.
A woman has been arrested for allegedly assaulting a police officer at a rally in Melbourne's CBD this morning. Police say around 20 protesters arrived at Parliament House for a Let Women Speak rally at about 11 o'clock. Around 150 demonstrators from another group then started throwing eggs and water balloons at the speakers. Police say a 36-year-old Brunswick woman was arrested. The United Nations chief is calling for a ceasefire in Gaza so children can be vaccinated against polio. A 10-month-old baby in the Gaza Strip has been confirmed as the first case of polio in Gaza in 25 years. The Palestinian Health Ministry says the child had not received a vaccination. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres says containing the virus in the enclave will take a massive, coordinated and urgent effort.
Let's be clear. The ultimate vaccine for polio is peace and an immediate humanitarian ceasefire. But in any case, a polio pause is a must. It is impossible to conduct a polio vaccination campaign with war raging all over.
Indonesia's leaders have marked a milestone, the first National Day of celebration at a new capital city they're building in Borneo. Indonesia correspondent Bill Birtles reports.
President Joko Widodo travelled to the construction site in East Kalimantan in Borneo for Independence Day, and he was sending a message that this $45 billion mega project must continue after he leaves office later this year. An elaborate ceremony at a partially completed new presidential palace aimed to show progress and commitment. But the new city, named Nusantara, is short of investment funds and running behind schedule. Joining Widodo on stage, his successor, Prabowo Subianto, who will come to office in a few months with some other big spending priorities. But he says he will continue the project. Bill Birtles, ABC News, Jakarta.
And Melbourne has claimed its 11th win of the AFL season, defeating the Gold Coast Suns 18 goals 9 117 to 9 goals 9 at 63 at the MCG. And you're up to date with the latest ABC News.
The good scissors, lucky socks, Tony Armstrong action figure. You know, you can tell a lot about someone by asking what they'd save if their home was about to be destroyed. I'm Sean McAuliffe, and that's exactly what I'll be doing to Australia's best and brightest celebrity guests on my brand new TV show. Not destroying their homes, I'm asking what they'd rescue.
Sean McAuliffe's Eve of Destruction starts Wednesday, August 14 on ABC TV, and always free, always entertaining on ABC iView.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Spills down Noble, onto the footy, still half forward for Collingwood. Wheels and kicks to full forward. McStay goes up and marks.
Good hands, good strong hands there by McStay. Knew the pressure was coming from behind.
161 games for Brisbane, now up high, and he drives it through to start the second. Just finds Noble, loops it over the top. Nick Dacos is away and running, arching his back, getting around one, getting around two, running to 40, the little magic man! He shows us what he can do!
Restarts, comes down the way of the Pies. They'll shoot goalward hurriedly.
It's Nick Dacos.
And it's going to go in the book for Nick Dacos.
That is freaky.
He's got a couple.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Brisbane by 5 points at halftime. The grand final rematch Saturday footy on ABC Sport. It was the Lions who led by 31 late in the opening quarter before Collingwood have kicked the next 4 in the game. Corbin Middlemass alongside Ben Cameron, Luke Ball and Adam Ramanauskas on ABC Sport. Earlier today, A 9-goal win for the Demons over the Gold Coast Suns. Fair to say, Bawley, we weren't really anticipating that, and particularly by such a margin in the end. It's just the second time the Suns have lost at Carrara all year, so 7-2 now at their home base. The only other loss, by the way, was to Brisbane, who are also familiar with those southeast Queensland conditions. So first time a side out of the state has gone up there and won, and it's the under siege Demons.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't think too many would have picked that at all. They put Clayton Oliver out for surgery this week, the Demons. But maybe that was a positive in a sense.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a bit of a sideshow all year, hasn't it, for the Demons? So. Yeah, that's it's a heap of the game, but that looks like it was when was the last time they kicked 18 goals? It's a pretty disappointing day for the Gold Coast, must be said, after their great performance last week. Maybe they got ahead of themselves a little bit, but I think it's a great effort.
Winning in Melbourne may have been their grand final.
Yeah,
sure.
Against the Bombers Corps.
It's amazing. The Bombers have a happy knack, don't they, Ram? Just running teams and players into a little bit of touch. Just on the other game too, so a 9-point victory for GWS. 6 goals for Jesse Hogan.
Yeah, he's having an outstanding year. He's the All-Australian full forward, I think, regardless of what happens moving.
So 67 goals for the year. It was already a career high leading in. Yeah. He's probably, and I know this was raised during the week, the cheapest Coleman medalist that we've seen in recent times. So wouldn't have been on big chips going to GWS, really on his last chance after stints with Melbourne and Fremantle. And denies Curnow winning 3 in a row. He's obviously injured, and now Hogan's got a 10-goal lead in the Coleman.
Yeah, no, fantastic effort. And just built on. He just looks fit, doesn't he? He just built off work rate and
hands.
Yeah, that's right.
At the moment.
And had his challenges. So I love the story. Great effort. Good on him. It's a fantastic story.
71 games at the Demons, kicked 152 goals.
Yep.
And so then the journey for him to get to Melbourne to begin with, that to give up pick 3, they got him in the mini draft. Then he went to Fremantle. The Dockers gave up pick 6 and 23 for him. So pick 6 in the end was used by Melbourne to get Stephen May down from the Gold Coast.
Yep.
That same pick the Suns used to get Ben King. So you talk about the high picks that are going around to essentially get Jesse Hogan to Fremantle. They ultimately sack him, and the Giants end up getting him for pick 54, which was unused.
Yeah. Well, look, it obviously didn't work at Fremantle, but to now go to GWS and just... I think we all knew he was a good player, Benny. Yeah. There's no doubt about that, but... I think he's sort of realising his talent and potential now.
Well, it makes me think of the George Eliot quote. It's never too late to be what you might have been. And I feel like that sums up Jesse Hogan. Like, what was it, 152 goals in 71 games at Melbourne?
Yep.
Like, that is a good strike rate.
Oh, yeah.
This is exactly what we expected him to be, and he's finally got there.
29, 28?
Yep, and so, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Well,
and so now he's played the exact same amount of games for his 152 games. 152 goals at Melbourne. He's kicked 165 with GWS, so it's his best stint at any one club so far.
And he's a one-man band down there. Let's be. I mean, I know he's had a bit of. Cameron's starting to show a bit, and they need him to keep coming on. McCarty's flashed in and out, and Toby Green hasn't had the year this year, had he? So it's really just big Jesse and the mosquito fleet at his feet.
What about this stat line today?
He's 29, by the way.
29 disposals, 7 marks, 13 tackles, 7 clearances and 3 goals. Who do you reckon that was today?
13 tackles.
Steve D'Amelio?
GWS. That's Brent Daniels.
He needs to be in the All-Australian conversation.
You will not
only
see
missed one game this year.
You won't see a better stat line than that this year.
He doesn't get the kudos unheralded. He is a star. And you talk to people internally. I mean, Whitville's had a great year. I was going to say he'll be top 3 in their best and fairest. But in terms of the role that he plays, name me a better small forward in terms of impact either side of the ball in the second half of the year. He's been outstanding. Brent Daniels has to be in the All-Australian squad at least.
Mitch is telling us it's only happened twice before that stat line has been recorded. Both times by Gary Ablett Jr.
Good company.
Good company.
It's sort of like all the basketball stats. Oh, Michael Jordan's the only one that's done that as well.
Yeah. We love that. Are we allowed to mention basketballers or?
Well, look, I'll give you a mulligan.
Yeah.
But,
well, can I explain this story?
Yeah, you got time.
You ran out of time. You ran out of time.
Mick Radojkovic said to me, he said, how tall is Wembanyama? So I Googled it. It said 222 centimetres. And then I was trying to contextualise in my mind how tall that was. So I thought, who's the tallest AFL player? Mason Cox, 2'11".
2'11".
He's 11 centimetres taller than that. So that's how I arrived at that point, which I didn't have time to articulate earlier.
Just while we're filling in the blanks on the weird things we've discussed today, Fitzroy first wore the colours to coincide with the introduction of colour TV. So when the light maroon deep red of 1974 was changed to a vibrant red of 1975, the official line from the Brisbane club website says they first wore a heritage-style Fitzroy Guernsey in 2017, a club article titled 40 Years of Red, Blue and Gold. So not of maroon, blue and gold, but there you go. There's a little backstory as to why they're wearing red today. If you've been with us through our ramblings throughout the first half.
Now, the Little Leaguers, they had the maroon jumper on.
They did.
They did.
And the trainers are wearing maroon tracksuits.
Correct.
The players, however, are wearing red. This is ABC Sports coverage of AFL footy. Saturday afternoon footy right here on AFL on ABC Sport.
Always now when the teams are running out, I'm always thinking, okay, what needs to happen or what could happen in the second half? Who needs to lift for each team? So obviously Berry's been subbed out pretty early in this game, but they need a lift from Hipwood. They need a lift from Zach Bailey. Darcy Wilmot hasn't had a lot of the ball, so Cam Rayner's another one. Only the one kick in
he's
that,
the one.
in that half.
When he goes near it, it looks like something's going to happen, but they need more than one kick out of Cam Rayner. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him start in the centre bounce this quarter, or he needs to spend some time in there from my point of view. Lachie Neale's the one. I mean, that quarter he went out of it a bit. And then on the flip side, we spoke about Dacos's impact, both Dacos's impact, side bottom and Pendlebury. So I'd imagine the Brisbane Lions mids would have got a bit of a rev up at half time, and we'll see a much improved performance. And there's a lot at stake. I mean, if they lose tonight, they'd probably kiss a top 4 chance goodbye with one game to go, depending on obviously the results tonight. So a lot at stake here. I mean, they're in front. You're right, Rammer. They actually, in the end, did a reasonable job to keep the damage to 3 goals that quarter, but they lost all their attacking impetus. So let's see if they can respond in this second half.
Nick Dacos, 14 disposals and 2 goals in that second quarter alone. So what a quarter he had, kicking 2 of Collingwood's 3 goals in that second term. By the way, Jared Berry out of the game with hamstring tightness, subbed out early in the second quarter. So Harry Sharp's in. The sub for Collingwood is Ned Long, unused. Second half, the grand final rematch on deck. It is Brisbane by 5 points on ABC Sport. Here's Ben Cameron.
Cox and McInerney go at it. Neither touch it. Spills down to Rayner. Needs to get busy in the second half. From the bullseye. Hooks a kick inside 50. Hipwood launches. Free kick. It'll go the way of Danaher.
Yeah. I just didn't need to do it, Frampton. He had him cold. Like, just as soon as you wrap your arms around your direct opponent, the umpire's looking for that. Frampton wrapped his arms around. Free kick to Joe Danaher. 20 seconds into this third quarter.
Rayner into the centre bounce.
Yeah, gets that first clearance.
Joe Danaher.
Sorry, Vinny. I'm just thinking with Rayner, there's a bit of the Heaney about him. He doesn't have to touch it 30 times. If he gets 10 this quarter.
On the runway, straight in front, straight through the middle. Joe's got 3. And Brisbane are back out by 11 points. 7-5, 47 plays, 5-6, 36, less than a minute into the third. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball.
And you look how he got that ball. It's Lachie Neale, who you mentioned, to Rayner, and they're both on the move at that contest. And it's probably what they didn't do in that second quarter. They just weren't on the move, and Collingwood were able to dictate around contest, but Rayner adds that bit more power and strength in the middle of the ground. Lachie Neale and Josh Dunkley in there. It's a big, strong midfield now for the Lions.
You're right. I mean, it wasn't a heap in it, but just didn't need to. He had the support. He had the aerial support, didn't he, there, Billy Frampton? Just panicked a bit.
Road form's been good this year for Joe Danaher. Now 9 of his 11 games, he's kicked multiple goals on the road. He's got 3 already as Zorko comes off the square. Inadvertently soccers it forward, and it's been marked by Pendlebury.
Yeah, no doubt it was a mark.
Unusual way for it to occur, and Zorko's pulled up a little sore on his foot too, by the way, in the middle of the G. Short kick to Nick Dacos. He can pump Collingwood inside 50. McStay running, start, flying at the footy, no mark. Spills down. There's going to be a free. It's coming back to McStay. Had his arms chopped in all of that, and the former Lions going to get it 35 metres out, just left of centre.
Oh, and he's lucky there, McStay. And he's lucky to get that free. Probably should have held the mark.
Yeah.
Initially, good kick by Nick Dacos because put it to space where McStay's able to run onto the ball. But
was it the hand on his face?
He paid over the shoulder. It wasn't again, not much in it.
Yeah,
so
probably that's where the free kick.
250-50s to start the second half.
Third outing against his old team. He's never beaten them. He kicks goalward here and misses near side. Dan McStay. So the 2 games he played against them were both in the regular season last year, and Brisbane won them both. So Lions by 10, 3 minutes gone, third term.
Kick into the pocket, mark taken by Wilmot. Wilmot looking back infield, now will kick long down the line towards the members' wing. McInerney and Cox wrestle. Cox puts his fist into it. Lipinski roves. Handball back into the muck. Coming through, Sharp, sockers it on. Out the back, Danaher runs onto it. A bounce, breaks the arc of 50. Second bounce doesn't come back. Now he's in trouble. Howe arrives, as do Morpies, and they hold him up. And he's caught holding the ball.
Oh, he had to go to Charlie Cameron.
He didn't look up at any stage. No. I mean, if you're going to bounce the ball, you've got to look up and see what's ahead. Charlie Cameron was out the back in 20 metres of space on his opponent, who breathes a big sigh of relief there.
Had the blinkers on.
He did.
Did Joe, and free kick to Maynard in the back pocket.
It's a bit of a Joe moment, unfortunately, for Danaher. Does some amazing things, and yet bound him into goal there. And 2 bounces. Second one didn't come back to him, and caught cold. Long kick down the line to Mason Cox. Tall man, but shorter than Wembanyama as he gives it off to Josh Dacos. Hand pass to side bottom, kicks down the wing. Brisbane win it back. Joyce by hand through towards Wilmot to Dunkley to Lohman. Back to Wilmot as he kicks inside 50, and here's Joe. Gets another look at it. He marks 45 out left half forward.
That's what I know you're back, Corbs. When you're at your sharpest there, where you can just push that into the commentary.
Not just shorter than him, 11 centimetres shorter.
4 inches, really, isn't it? Well, he made the blue, Joe. He gets an opportunity a minute later.
He probably could have went to Charlie Cameron again, to be fair.
Charlie goalless today. He's kicked 1 in all of his last 9, Charlie Cameron, but still waiting to hit the scoreboard. No such problems for this man. Joe Danaher looking for his 4th. He kicks goalward. It won't get there. Lands short. And in the end, Moore just punches it through for a rush behind and then slips over right at the feet of the goal umpire. An 11-point lead for Brisbane, 5 gone in the third term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Soft underfoot out there, I reckon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially at either end. Patchy sort of grass.
There's a couple of bounces that haven't come back as well.
Up. I'd be avoiding the bounce.
Touch it on the ground, Bully. Old school.
Old touch on the ground.
Who do you remember who used to always touch it on the ground as Josh Dacos kicks up towards the wing. Lockie Neal lunging at it, knocks it down. Joyce able to gather, handball around the boundary. Out of play by McCluggage.
That's a good question, Benny.
Yeah.
No one sort of springs to mind there.
Not sure there's a clear answer there.
No.
I look forward to hearing it, though.
Dean Kemp used to touch it on the ground. I don't reckon Dean Kemp used to bounce it.
His mate Peter Matera certainly didn't. He was a bouncer.
He was a bouncer.
Bouncing machine.
Lions by 11. Thrown in, Cox bringing it down to the front for Crisp. Dunkley coming through, handball, a turnover onto it. Nick Dacos, away go the Pies down the members' wing.
Kicks looking for McStay. Caught at the back, McStay forced to spoil, turns out okay. Down towards Nick Dacos, went without it. Sharp hand pass through to Dunkley, bursts through the would-be tackle. Handball to Ashcroft, gives it to Rayner, gets it back. Ashcroft kicks down to half forward, and there's McInerney who takes the mark.
Heels on.
60 metres out, and he peels and goes long to the top of the goal square. Cameron and Danaher, Dave Danaher, reaching up, takes the mark just outside the goal square, and he's in for a day, Big Joe.
That's a great mark.
And it was good by Charlie Cameron because he held Jeremy Howe out of the contest. So Joe had Frampton pretty cold because Frampton was in front of him and the ball was coming over his head. So Frampton had to push back harder. But I just love the work of Charlie Cameron there. Unselfish, just holding Jeremy Howe out of that contest.
After a goalless second term, they could kick 2 here in the opening 7 minutes of the third. Danaher skips in, drives it through, and Big Joe is smoking. He's got 4. And Brisbane are out by 17 points at the 7-minute mark of the third term. The Lions 8-6-54, Collingwood 5-7-37. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, certainly the scoring end, Bally. So 11 of the, 13 goals in this game have come at the punt road end. So, again, Brisbane starting a quarter as they did in the first quarter. 2 goals now in the first 7 minutes. It was 2 goals in the first 8 minutes of that first quarter. But it's an interesting one. When teams can't push back in defence and, numbers and numbers and numbers, and you got one-on-one looks for your forwards, usually good things happen. It's what the frustration with me with a lot of teams where they play around with the ball in the middle of the ground. That kick going inside forward 50 to one-on-one contest is such a big factor in the game now.
McInerney wins the tap. Neal can't gather it cleanly. Gets it off towards McCluggage, though, with the tap. He gives it to Zorko. Kicks the Lions to half forward. Free kick, it'll go to Quaynor. Wearing the black headband. Offensive point of the square. Quaynor goes short for Nick Dacos.
Razor from Rockingham off the SMS band. The Cracker brothers used to touch the ball on the ground.
Yeah, okay.
There you go. Short kick to Jamie Elliott. Gives it back to Nick Dacos. Runs into a cul-de-sac. Handball now errant. McCluggage getting involved. Josh Dacos arrives. He's over the footy. Umpire wants to ball it up in the middle of the MCG. Brisbane by 17 points. First 2 goals of the second half.
What about this great running bounce players? The guys you think of. You mentioned a few of them before.
Peter Matera, standout. Michael Long was a standout.
From the restart, Schultz gets a little hand pass forward for Collingwood. Bailey picks it off. Handball away to Zorko. Kicks hurriedly in front of the interchange gates. All in one direction. Quaynor and Sharp in the other. Ball spits free. Loman, hand pass to Bailey. Tackled. Ball up on the wing.
Koutafidis, when he was at his absolute peak, when he used to burst out a contest and take a couple of bounces.
I've got one of Borley's former teammates.
You going to say Aussie Jones?
Yeah. No, Aussie Jones, good one.
Yep.
Yeah.
0437 774 774, the SMS number.
I was going to say Brett Peake.
No, I never played with Brett.
Did you not?
You're already gone by then?
Okay. Not one of Borley's former teammates.
Swing and a miss. Has Big Sharp here for the stoppage. Hand pass to McCluggage. Kicks down the wing. And here's Hipwood who takes the mark in front of the benches.
It was a bouncer, though.
I would have sworn you guys played together, but the mind plays tricks on us. Free kick. Or a mark here to Bailey, rather. He goes short out wide to Hipwood. High half forward, looking inside 50. Danaher coming at the footy. Spills down. Neil rose brilliantly and snaps truly. That's why he's a dual Brownlow medalist. He's got a couple. And the Lions are out by 23 points again. 9-6, 60 plays, 5-7, 37. Our premiership pair, Adam Ramanaskas and Luke Ball.
Bully. If any kid watching this game on TV at home, that's a fronted square. And then to be able to take the ball and then drive your legs through a little bit of traffic there, that's why he's a 2-time Brownlow medalist. And it might be a 3-time Brownlow medalist by the end of the year. Danaher makes a really, really good contest. Yeah. But there's Lachie Neale right there, one grab. We hear Lachie Neale throughout a week when he does interviews, how many touches he has of the football. Yeah. And that's the reason why. Yep. Because you only get a couple of those opportunities in a game.
Spoke about it today, didn't we, Ben?
Specials.
Yeah, that's right. He's the king of it. Too much space there, though. That's what will frustrate Craig McRae. I don't know who was on him, but as he comes off for a rest now, so we won't know, but far too much space inside 50 for a dual Brownlow medalist.
Back to 23 points. The Lions with the first 3 after half-time. Coming off the wing, Fletcher grabs the footy for Brisbane. Handball to the Big O. Trickles a kick forward, but a turnover. Josh Dacos swings his kick for Collingwood out to the wing. McCreary can't mark. Now tries to fend off. Starcevic does well. Bowls him over. McCreary to the top of the goal square. McStay flies. No mark. Hits the deck, and Dunkley's there for the Lions. Hand pass to Andrews. Kicks wide over the head of Starcevic. It's coming back inside 50. Noble. Hand pass to Nick Dacos. Spun around. Hand pass finds Crisp. He gives it to side bottom. Hand pass through to McCreary, outside of the right boot. Beautiful finish. McCreary goes to the pocket, and Collingwood hang in this game. A dozen minutes gone in the third. Brisbane 9-6-60, Collingwood 6-7-43, and the Lions lead trimmed to 17 points. Luke Ball, Adam Ramanaskas on ABC Sport.
Good forward pressure, just caused the turnover. Just enough pressure on Harris Andrews coming out of the back 50. You talk about clean hands there. It was a couple of the veterans. Nick Dacos setting up a couple of the veterans. Crisp to side bottom. Great vision. Swooping 15-metre handball out to McCreary, who just ducked out into space. Smart forward play. And that's a good finish, isn't it? Of one step from that angle in the pocket. Much needed goal there for the Pies.
Popular topic off the SMS too. Phil Manasseh, been thrown up nice and early. Stephen Hill was a very good running bounce player from Poppy. Highlights Andrew McLeod was my first thought. Running bounces. Tyler from South Perth.
Back in the middle, winning it down, Darcy Cameron, but the lines are there. McCluggage picks it up off the deck, gives it to Wilmot. He'll float a kick out towards the wing. Bouncing ball. Noble leads the race. Gathers for Collingwood. Sweeps a handball. Quaynor running away with it. Dumps it on the boot. High kick to half forward. Hoskin Elliott in from the side. Punched away by Andrews. Now McCluggage. He's getting really busy. Handball away to Zorko. At fullback. Kicks laterally to the pocket. And spots up Fletcher.
It's a great lead by Charlie Cameron.
Kicks long to Charlie Cameron on the wing. He turns and goes the other way. He's speeding away with it. 1 bounce, 2 bounces, 3 bounces. Runs his measure. Kicks inside 50. Looking for a marker. McInerney can't mark. Roving Hipwood. Loops a handball. Bailey bounces off more. No, he doesn't. Moore's got in. High free kick.
Played too high.
Bailey will get the free kick.
Yeah, it's the second one, Benny. So Darcy Moore had him cold. And then Bailey, Zach Bailey just pushed off him slightly. And Darcy Moore's come back again with the tackle. And he's just got him high. So it's around the neck. Yeah, it is. Absolutely it is. So I know the Collingwood fans will be upset, but it's the second motion that Darcy Moore goes in that tackle, which is too high.
Slight angle. Boot the ball from 20 out. Bailey comes in and hits the post.
Smashes the post.
Rattles it into the woodwork. So the lead is 18 points, 14 played, third turn, Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Actually kicked the winning goal against Collingwood one night, Jack Bailey at Docklands.
Docklands, yeah.
Back in 2021. Which was Nathan Buckley's, of course, last year in charge. 14 minutes into the third, Lions by 18. The Pies work it up to the wing. Darcy Cameron on the bottom of the pack. Umpire gives him a moment, now calls for a ball up. Boomer Harvey bounced and bounced and bounced from Lee and Glenorchy in Tasmania.
Boomer loved the bounce.
Yep. That David Kelthorpe was a ripper.
Yeah. Stumpy Kelthorpe.
Vicky McGuan.
My man.
All here at the G.
That's another nomination. That's from Pete, by the way. Warrigal off the SMS, the David Kelthorpe nomination. From the ball up, comes down towards Josh Dacos. Hand pass to Noble, kicks down the wing. Andrews puts his fist through it. Still a live footy. Hill sockers it forward, as does McCreary. Got it to Elliott. Hand pass in front of Hill. Shakes one tackle, Bobby Hill. He tries to shake. Zorko slips over. Hand pass back, ends up with Archie. Handball to Zorko, tackled out of bounds. And the Pies have just raised their level a little bit here. The tempo's gone up. The Lions by 3 goals. 15 played, third term game on the line.
That's the Pies at their best, isn't it? That chaos footy, just surging the ball forward. Speed. McCreary, Hill.
Umpire flings it in. Danaher reaching over Darcy Cameron, brings it down. The Pies are onto it. McCreary leaves it behind. Allows in the lines. Dunkley gets rid of it away to Danaher. Tumbles a kick up to the wing. Big pack forms down in front. Josh Dacos worried out of it. Rayner goes in. Free kick in amongst it. It'll go the way of the Pies. Josh Dacos to get the free kick. Right on the attacking point of the square. Lions by 18 points. He'll flare his kick out wide for side bottom. Marks 49.5 metres out, 5 metres in from the boundary line. And on grand final day last year, he had the legs for this kick. I'm not sure he does again. And looks towards a crowded goal mouth. Sets it up. Here comes Cox in from the side through his hands. Down at ground level by Tell. Shovels out a handball. Danaher. He can just dump it on the boot and clear it for the Lions.
It's gone a long way. It's headed towards the boundary line. Morris and Moore chase out after it. Morris clever. Whacks it back in the field of play. Moore will get there first. Morris tackles him. Still alive footy on the wing. Charlie Cameron sockers to Neil. Great work. Back to Cameron. Short kick down the wing. Dropped it cold. Morris. Collingwood back onto it. Lipinski paddles it to the boundary line for Howe. His kick smothered. Stays alive. Howe gets a second chance. Hand pass forward, picked off by Andrews. Hot footy at the moment. Hand pass to Fletcher. To Wilmot down the wing. Hand pass to Dunkley. Sends Brisbane to half forward, and the mark to be taken by Neil. Wants to keep it moving. Finds Lohman. Marks wide out right half forward. He plays on. Hand pass back to Neil. Neil against the boundary line. Centering kick. Archie and Noble. Archie can't mark. Falls down to side bottom. He's tackled. Dispossessed. Holding the ball. It's a hot whistle going against side bottom, and Rayner will get the free kick. 25 out, dead in front.
It's probably there. He went to dispose of the ball. Steel side bottom, just completely missed the handball.
It was a great contest, wasn't it, from Noble, who looked like Archie was going to be able to protect the drop of the ball. It just felt like they had a spare out ahead of the ball line, so it felt like they were destined to score.
As the game,
good hands.
The game has gone up a notch, and it's Brisbane who go in and shoot a goal that miss. Later from straight in front, leaves it out there, misses to the right. Poor finish. Lions by 19. Approaching time on in their third quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. 18 gone in the third. Lions by 19.
Maynard in the back pocket. Kicks as long as he can. Cox in good position. Has to go up one-handed. Can't take the mark. He went up one-handed because he was impeded. Free kick to Big Mace.
Let that ball bounce there, Mason Cox.
Wasn't returned to him overly well by Harris Andrews.
So laconic sometimes, Harris Andrews, isn't he?
Cox kicks it short to Nick Dacos. Back to Maynard.
Yeah, it's a big let off from Rayner, isn't it?
Massive.
Maynard up towards the logo. Here's Cox again, controlling it with one hand, then marking on the logo.
Dare I say it? It's Wemby-like. He just used that wide wingspan, Mason Cox, to be able to reel in that footy. Lions by 19 points as Cox down to half forward. Leaping for it, Darcy Cameron, no mark. Falls down to Brain. Hand pass to Danaher. Was he legged? Umpire says no.
Oh, goodness me. Well.
Oh, my gosh.
They get away with one there.
It's just simply, like, we've got 4 umpires.
Yeah, that's
the umpire's just too far away. Like, Lipinski just threw his leg out. Completely threw his leg out there. He might even get reported for that in the end. Might get a fine.
Free kick for Lipinski. 52 out. Lays it up. Top of the goal square. They come from all directions. No mark. Falls down to Brain of Brisbane. Hand pass away to Neal. Kicks to half back. And a big O marks on the back flank for the Lions. Brisbane by 19 50. As we tick into time on in the third.
And he gets 50, which helps because he had nowhere to go.
What for?
I think Maynard cribbed over the boundary line. Over the mark, rather. McInerney gives it to Joe, who tries to go with the spiral. It is a wounded duck floating towards half forward. And Howe marks. Prize on their back flank. Kicks short to Maynard. We've got the full set from Joe today, haven't we? The full box of chocolates. Lions by 19 points, 20 minutes played in the third.
It's not the chocolate they needed there.
Yeah.
Maynard kicks down the wing. McStay goes for a ride at the back. Can't come down with it. Nick Dacos whacks it on, but straight to Joyce of Brisbane. Kicks it back the other way. Joe underneath it. Takes the mark. Moves it on immediately to Lohman. Brisbane out downhill. Lohman's off and running. 2 bounces. Crosses the 50. Left half forward. Shoots goalward. Misses. Near side of behind. Brisbane by 20 points on the back of that. So it'll be 9-9 to 6-7. 20-point lead for the Lions, 21 gone, third term.
Butchering a few opportunities, aren't they, to really put a gap in the Pies here. They're all over them. The Pies' defence is all at sea at the moment. How many times have the Lions had players free out the back?
Leaving the door ajar. Long kick in from Howe towards a contest. McStay brings it down in front. Pendlebury picks it up. Gives it to Hoskin Elliott. High kick, no one there for the Pies. Joyce marks.
Well, that time, the Lions 3-3 behind the ball. They've just completely lost their structure at the moment, Collingwood.
Goes short to Wilmot, who moves it on short again to Ashcroft. He'll kick to centre half back. Zorko takes it, stabs it quickly, back to Wilmot. So the Lions just keeping possession at the moment. They lead it by 20 points, just inside the defensive edge of the centre square.
Very stylish young man, Will Ashcroft's got the blonde tips going through his mane. As the Lions work it across the half-back line as Lester pokes the pass out to Fletcher. And marks using the full perimeter, southern boundary line. 20-point lead for the Lions. He goes short to his mate Ashcroft, who marks on the logo. They got another one on the way, Rammer. Young Levi.
Yeah, he's very good.
35 and a goal last week in his VFL debut for Brisbane. Kicks a high up and under. His brother Will here down to half forward, and it's Darcy Cameron who takes the intercept mark.
He'll certainly be a top 5 pick.
Everything is competitive with brothers, as I know. Rama, who's the better brother?
Let's.
In their draft year.
Will was terrific in his draft year.
Okay.
He won everything.
Long kick around the wing, and McStay marks. for Collingwood. Gives it off to Josh Dacos, running by a 50-metre penalty or advantage paid. The kick will go inside 50, off hands, out of play, thrown to come. Umpire flailing their arms around, saying you've taken the advantage. So a throw in left forward pocket for the Pies. 22 and a half minutes played in the third. Lions by 20 points.
Different directions tonight. We've got St Kilda and Geelong under the roof at Docklands. And also the showdown. It should be juicy. Adelaide and Port Adelaide. Home game for the Power. Boundary throw in here, deep forward for the Pies. McInerney wins it down, comes to Darcy Cameron, shoots goalward. Got a Shepherd on the line, it's there. And Collingwood hanging tough in this game. Margin back to 14. 23 gone in the third. And Darcy Cameron ended up roving his opposite ruckman's hit out. 9-9 Brisbane, Collingwood 7-7, 14-point lead to the Lions, time on in the third. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
He gets one back, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Saw Big O, kick one from a stoppage, throw one on the boot from a stoppage in the first quarter. That time, Darcy Cameron.
It's interesting, isn't it, Bally, there? It's terrific by Cameron, but Brisbane weren't quite set up on the goal line.
Yep.
You know, they had two players thereabouts, but one just wasn't on the goal line. And if that one was on the goal line, ball gets touched. Now, just simple little things that you learn as a junior in football sometimes just go out the window when you're playing AFL football.
Darcy Cameron back in the middle, tapping it down to Nick Dacos, off to Maynard. Coming through the middle, kicks long to half forward. Arriving Elliott, drops the mark, follows up at ground level. Slick hands to Lipinski, chips to Schultz. And Brisbane have wasted opportunities at one end. And now Collingwood with theirs at the other end. And Lockie Schultz in the left forward pocket.
It's great work out of the middle of the ground by the Pies. Now, Elliott spilled the mark, but then just so quick with the handball.
He had
get it out to space.
His third kick.
Going to snap from 40. It'll get there. It's a goal touched.
That's why you have somebody on the goal line, Benny.
And it was the Big O, one of the tallest, getting around. Getting a hand on it. It is a long way out to be snapping from that kind of distance. Brisbane by 13 late in the third.
Zorko, long kick up towards the wing, and good Mark Andrews stands in front of the pack, comes down with it. Defensive side of the wing, looks inboard to Rayner. Hand pass to Zorko, handball back out in front of Rayner. He keeps moving it forward. Handball to Sharp, draws the contact. Hand pass to Bailey, advantage applied. Sends it inside 50. Charlie Cameron looking for the contact. Spills down to Larchie. He's tackled. Ball comes out. Charlie Cameron sockers it forward, and Howe, the goalkeeper back, picks it off for Collingwood. Handball to Parker, kicks to the back flank, and his side bottom marks for the Pies. And Collingwood just want to go at all cost here. Brisbane by 13, time on in the third. Maynard kicks down the wing, and a free kick for McStay, taken without it. McStay will get it southern wing. Lions by 13 points, 26 gone. Third quarter.
McStay goes short. Lipinski kicking into the pocket, looking for a marker down there, overshoots Elliott, close to the boundary line. Did it come off a boot? No, throwing to come.
Sub made by the Pies. Jack Vitale out of the game. Tactical sub. Ned Long. We'll see him for the first time shortly, the former Hawk.
Umpire to bring it back in. 45 around from the attacking goal for the Pies. Brisbane by 13 points. McInerney shoves Darcy Cameron out of the way, dribbles a kick away. Lipinski pinches it, kicks towards full forward. Andrews, brave mark. Going back with the flight, marks at fullback for Brisbane.
It's had a good 5 minutes, Big Harris, co-captain.
Short to Wilmot, not long enough. Rule changed in 2002, runner, so that's not 15. Long kick up to the wing, and mark taken by Loman.
Yeah, who you're back right in your group now, called.
13-point lead for Brisbane, 26 and a half gone in the third.
The memory's working.
I don't always feel that.
Oh, they're on in the middle here.
Loman goes.
That's a short.
Zorko short to McCluggage. Kicks in the middle of the ground. No mark for Starcevic. He follows it up. Sweeping Polython, a hand pass away to Bailey. Gives it to Ashcroft. Front edge of the square. Kicks inside 50. Morris hands to it. No mark. Ball hits the deck. Parker got it out. Hand pass in front of Frampton. He just paddles it to Lipinski. Still at half back. Morris coming to get him. Handball back to Parker. Under pressure. Tackled. Taken to ground. And the umpire says, I'll have it. And the ball up Right half forward for the Brisbane Lions. They lead it by 13 points, 27 gone in the third.
Well there, young Parker. Under pressure a couple of times. Just a couple of nice touches. Holding up well.
McInerney slapping it down. Charlie Cameron onto it. Sweeps out a handball. Neal somehow gets it out to Morris. Off to Ashcroft. He can't finish. And that is the story of the third quarter for Brisbane. They have had their chances.
3-5.
3-5 plays 2-2. 14 points their lead.
3-5, 8 scoring shots from 10 inside 50s.
I reckon they've left a few out there too.
Yeah. Yep. Should have been game over. 14 points, Brisbane's lead. Game still on. Time on in the third, which is good for us as neutrals watching on. Crisp on the back flank. Bobby Hill with the big sit. Can't come down with it. Gee, sat on the head of a couple of Lions on the wing. No mark. Falls down towards Joyce. He gets a kick away right on the bell. And that'll do us to half-time. And Bobby Hill has taken a hanger on this ground against these opponents in the not-too-distant past. Saw the running start. Couldn't quite come down with it. Three-quarter time, it is Brisbane by 14 points, 9-10-64. They lead Collingwood 7-8-50, so a 14-point lead for the Brisbane Lions. The goal kickers to three-quarter time. 4 for Danaher, 2 for Neal, 2 for Lohman, and 1 for McInerney. Meanwhile, for Collingwood, 2 for Nick Dacos, and then singles for Quaynor, McStay, McCreery, and Hoskin Elliott. All right, it is three-quarter time, and this is Saturday Footy on ABC Sport.
G'day, Patrick Stack here from ABC Sport Daily. If you love sport,
people really love a redemption story, but people also love seeing the GOAT.
And great conversation.
She said she felt calm on the water, and she was a bit worried about feeling calm because Tokyo was quite the opposite, I think.
Then you would love ABC Sport Daily.
How does she get the best out of herself as an athlete under all of the lights and all of the action?
ABC Sport Daily. Get it on the ABC Listen app.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Spills down to Rayner. Needs to get busy in the second half. From the bullseye. Hooks a kick inside 50. Hipwood launches. Free kick. It'll go the way of Danaher.
Yeah. I just didn't need to do it for Hampton. He had him cold.
On the runway. Straight in front. Straight through the middle. Joe's got 3.
Peels and goes long to the top of the goal square. Cameron and Danaher, deep Danaher, reaching up, takes the mark, just outside the goal square, and he's in for a day, Big Joe.
That's a great mark.
And it was good by Charlie Cameron because he held Jeremy Howe out of the contest.
After a goalless second term, they could kick 2 here in the opening 7 minutes of the third. Danaher skips in, drives it through, and Big Joe is smoking. He's got 4.
Short out wide to Hipwood. High half forward, looking inside 50. Danaher coming at the footy. Spills down. Neil rose brilliantly and snaps truly. That's why he's a dual Brownlow medalist. He's got a couple.
Hand pass finds Crisp. He gives it to side bottom. Hand pass through to McCreery. Outside of the right boot. Beautiful finish. McCreery goes to the pocket. And Collingwood hanging this game. Boundary throw in here deep forward for the Pies. McInerney wins it down, comes to Darcy. Cameron shoots Collingwood. Got a Shepherd on the line, it's there. And Collingwood hanging tough in this game.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Sounds there from the third quarter in which Brisbane kicked 3 goals to 2. They led by 5 at half-time. They lead by 14 at three-quarter time. We had a little topic that we were running on off the SMS about running bounces and players that touch the ball on the ground. We got a bit distracted because the game got really good. So just to bring you up to date with a couple off the SMS, Paul in Catherine says the funniest player to watch bouncing the footy was Justin Madden. Any of the big guys, I think that goes in that category. Craig Bradley could bounce the ball under the table.
Yeah.
How about Darryl Bordock from St Kilda boys touching the ball on the ground from Paul in New South Wales?
Yeah, okay.
Mickey Conlon looked great bouncing the ball. Matt in Tassie. Morgs in Ballarat also says Craig Bradley, running and bouncing machine. Marcus in South Melbourne, an absolute highlight was Craig Bradley, running and bouncing the ball around Princess Park. The wing one day from half back to half forward, going into the pouring rain, being chased by Peter Matera in the premiership year of 95. Great call, team. Chris here. former Tiger Michael Mitchell.
Yeah, well, one goal of the year and mark of the year, I reckon, in the same year.
He did. Was pretty good at bouncing the football at high speed. Also played for the Mighty Tigers as well in the WAFL, the Claremont Tigers. So shout out to Michael Mitchell as well. The goal at the SCG was insane. So there's just a couple of nominations. And Simon from Largs Bay, one of our most loyal listeners, Tim Watson. Exciting to watch, bouncing away with the footy, of course. So there's a few off the SMS. The game's been excellent. There's enough in it. The Pies good enough to try and run this down. The Lions by 14 points. Feels like they probably should have been leading by more. What have we got on our hands here with a quarter to go? Luke Ball and Adam Ramanaskas.
Well, they're certainly close enough, Bally.
Yeah.
So at 14, so those two late goals, not late goals, they kicked the goal at the 11-minute mark, then their last goal was at the 23-minute mark, the Pies. So before that, it was 3 goals to Brisbane to start the quarter, and it got back out to, 23 points there at the 10-minute mark. We sort of thought the game was just slipping away from the Pies, but to their absolute credit, they've hung in there. And I think that's where they turned the contest around. In the contest again, they had to get tougher. So they got tougher in that second part of the quarter, and sort of away they went. But it was a bit of the chaos stuff that Collingwood have been so good at now for a couple of years, where their smaller forwards started to get involved in Elliott and Bobby Hill. McQuarrie got involved there. So, look, Brisbane had the upper hand and looked the better team. But Collingwood are a chance in this final
didn't put
quarter.
them away, did they? It was an interesting quarter. It was really played between the arcs a bit. Look at the numbers, only 10 inside 50s each. Brisbane scored 8 times, as we said, looked the most dangerous going in, but they left a lot of it. In fact, some of those they didn't score at all, so left a fair bit out there. So we saw that happen last week. The Giants run over the top of them when they left the door open there at 3/4 time and kicked the last 3 or 4 goals. So the Pies will back themselves. I mean, this is it for the Pies. This is the season here.
Yep.
It's still unlikely, as we know, but they have to win tonight to be any chance. And we know, like we said at half-time, the stakes are very high for the Lions as well.
They've had 9 opportunities this year. Collingwood trailing at 3/4 time. They've won only 2. Of course, that was their MO. The first 2 years under Craig McRae, they got another one in them as McInerney wins the first hit out of the final term. Down towards Neil. He's dispossessed in a tackle. Oh, Maynard threw his boot at it, missed. Fresh air shot comes to McCluggage. He's drilled in the long tackle. Ball comes out Collingwood's way. Side bottom takes the advantage. Handball to Hill. Hand pass to Nick Dacos. He kicks on the run from 50.
Yeah, it's going to be downfield.
And he was collected, Rama, after getting rid of the footy. Starcevic got him in motion. I was watching the directory of the ball.
Certainly late.
And it is going to be a layup here for Dan McStay. He'll get it in the goal square.
Yeah, just no need, really, from Starcevic there. I understand wanting to put pressure on.
McStay goals. And this game is right on. Brisbane's lead cut to single figures. The Lions now by just 8 points. 1 minute into the final term. Brisbane 9-10. Collingwood moved to 8-8. This is Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Adam Ramanaskas.
Well, it's a little tap by Steele Sidebottom that gets the ball going back Collingwood's way. Then terrific tackle by Ned Long, who's come into the game. Then again, it's the Nick Dacos when he gets it on the outside. Something good happens for Collingwood. It's just a late hit by Starcevic, unnecessary, because Dacos didn't make the ball, make the distance with that shot at goal. And I think it was Joyce that took an uncontested mark in the goal square. But that's just that little momentum shifter that Collingwood need to start this last quarter.
Great celebration, Nick Dacos too. So even though he wasn't the one kicking the goal, he's up clapping his hands and right into it. He's sensing the momentum shift.
A restart in the middle. McInerney with hands on it. There's a whistle somewhere. Free kick in the middle. Going the way of who? Everyone's confused. It'll be downfield, I think. I need McInerney to come back. He'd been streaming inside 50.
Where you going, Big O?
Big O will come back and receive his kick in the middle.
And in that time, 18 Collingwood players get in front of him and the goals.
Plays a bit of park cricket in his summer. Big Oscar McInerney thumps it long inside 50 here towards a contest. Hitwood launching, comes down at ground level. Coming through Fletcher, wrenched off the footy. Spills to Bailey, boots a ball, goal! Some magic from Zach Bailey. Brisbane with some breathing space again. Out by 14 points, 10-10-70 plays 8-8-56. 2.5 minutes into the fourth. Adam Ramanauskas, Luke Ball.
Well, you can't tell me that's not the right kick by Oscar McInerney. When you win a free kick in the middle of the ground.
Every time.
Just get the ball as long as you possibly can. These teams that muck around and want to go sideways and backwards with that, just get it in.
Well, with Brisbane's forward line too. I mean, because that's what happens. Chaos ball comes to ground. Good contest, Hipwood, who was at Fletcher, who just got the kick away. Clever from Rayner, just to knock it on. And Zach Bailey doing what he does at his best. So, no, I agree with you, Rama. And then at that time there, they had time. I mean, McInerney had to come back and take the kick. So, as I said, Collingwood got all numbers back and they were still able to conjure a goal.
Back in the middle, McInerney palms it down to McCluggage. He's tackled straight away. Tonight, depending on where you're listening, 2 games on offer. They're both available through the ABC Listen app. The showdown, Port Adelaide versus Adelaide. And for the rest of the network, it'll be St Kilda and Geelong under the roof at Docklands. Both games with ramifications on positioning and the makeup of the 8. Back in the middle here with the game on the line. Brisbane by 14. It pinballs around before Hill extracts it, kicks it straight to Big Mason. And Cox marks centre-half forward for Collingwood.
That's 2 involvements from Bobby Hill, and it looks like he's playing a little bit higher, which I think is a good move. When you've got to go and win the game, you've got to get your playmakers and your creators around the action. And that time, he just won a pure clearance, didn't he, out the front. And I'm not sure the kick was intended for Cox, probably Elliott, but Cox was good enough. Sticky hands. This will be right on his distance.
He moves in, his right-footed drop, punt, drifts goalward, it won't quite get there. Touched on the in front of the goalpost by McInerney, through for a rush behind. So 13 points, Brisbane's lead, 4.5 gone, final term. Game on the line, Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
All over it, Luke Ball. Right to the line. Leicester, dangerous kick towards Neil. Can't take the mark. The Pies arrive from all angles. Side bottom, Sockers. Sockers again. It dribbles wide. EPL season is underway and begins really in earnest tonight. Nearly a soccer goal there from Steele side bottom. Brisbane by 12 points.
Short kick from Leicester to Zorko. Swings it across the goal face to Joyce. Short kick to Brain. Shadow Brain. Short kick to Archie, who marks at half back. Who's playing tonight, Ben?
Liverpool take on Ipswich Town.
Yep.
9:30 p.m. tonight.
Here's Archie. A long kick down the wing. Rayner with the sit over the back. Can't complete the mark. Spills down towards Lohman. Hand pass back into traffic. And then we'll have the ball up here as Bailey holds it to Moore on the wing. Is there another punch left in the Collingwood title defence? Down by 12. Brisbane have led all day. We've got another stoppage as there's another pack forming at the feet of the ruckman. So ball up, broadcast wing. Lions by 12 points. Scored the first 8 points of the game and have never been headed.
McInerney slapping it down. Neil on the burst. Picks it up. Handball away to Rayner. He goes with a low kick towards half forward here for Brisbane. Fletcher can't gather it cleanly. Dunkley can. Sweeps it inside 50. Bailey gets it on the boot. Hits the wrong side of the ball. With his kick, Lipinski drops a mark he should have taken. Now Lohman pressures him. Live footy inside 50 for Brisbane. High free kick. Going the way of the Pies. Pat Lipinski to have it. 40 out from his defensive goal. Brisbane by 12 points.
He got lucky, didn't he? Dropped the easy chest mark. Invited the pressure. Might have just slipped tight.
Lipinski, long kick out towards the southern wing. And Harris Andrews, great closing speed. Got there to whack it out of bounds with a fist. Jeff in Rosebud off the SMS. This umpiring is getting back at Craig McRae for criticising him last week. Did touch on that a little earlier as to Collingwood fans feeling a little slighted. They were hot on the umpires out of the gates. And boundary throwing, game still on the line here. Lions by 2 goals, 7 minutes played, final term. For the boundary throwing, no clean possession. Eventually Neil gets there, shoots a hand pass, 20 metres forward, skids along the ground. Josh Dacos, first one there. Handball back inside the field of play, close to the boundary line, half forward for Brisbane, and we've got a ball up. Has been the scoring end, though, as you touched on a little earlier, Rama. So what have we had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals kicked to the city end, the rest of them all to the punt road end.
Brisbane come away with it. Bailey, flying shot from 50, right to the line. Howe goes upstairs to punch it through. Pushes the margin beyond 2 goals. Brisbane by 13 points. 7:24 played in this final term.
So 13 of the goals to the punt road end, 5 to the city end. It is Brisbane to the city end where The scoring hasn't happened in this final term, and that means the Pies are coming home to the punt road end. They work the ball all the way up the southern boundary line to Lipinski. Kicks it up into the front half to Elliott. He marks, moves it on, looks inside 50. Mason Cox reaches up and takes the mark right half forward for Collingwood.
Well, that was Harris Andrews, because he handed over his direct opponent, Dan McStay, to Joyce. But then Harris Andrews didn't try to get to Mason Cox, so that just had the smaller opponents on Mason Cox, and was able to take a strong overhead mark.
Good ball movement, wasn't it, from the kick out? Just kick mark, but they always kept the ball in motion.
Cox on the drop punt, tracking goal, but it won't get there again. So 2 missed kicks from Mason Cox, and there's Harris Andrews, makes up for his error. Takes the intercept mark in front of the goalpost. Last line of defence. Brisbane by 13 points, 8.5 gone, final quarter.
Andrews with a long kick, beyond defensive 50, going up is Hipwood. He can't mark it, spills down for Maynard, gets rid of it to Long, kicks towards Cox again. Up he goes, no mark. Lipinski, clever tap, just doesn't find Elliott. Allows in the lines, Fletcher, handball into the back of Starcevic. Able to gather, kicks beyond the defensive arc. Will it get to Hipwood? Not quite. Crisp knocks it down, roves himself, clever central kick, bouncing ball, gathered Lipinski, off to Hill, his snap, he's bending, hitting the post. It's laborious at the moment for the Pies, they just can't quite find a goal.
Zorko wants to rush it, spears a kick out to Fletcher, who marks it half back, short kick to Dunkley. Back flank. And peppering Collingwood, 1 goal, 3 for the quarter.
Well, the Lions will do well just to play a bit of control here. It doesn't suit them to join in with Collingwood's chaos game. Yeah. The game's opened up, hasn't it? The ground's big. Both teams attacking on a big ground, so they should be able to keep their cool heads and composure here and just kick mark their way up the field.
Short to Ashcroft, short to Joyce, short to Andrews, but still deep in defence, Brisbane. They lead it by 2 goals. Collingwood squeeze up on them. Short kick back to Ashcroft. Of course, keep in mind Brisbane's poor record here. They've won only 2 of their last 17 games in the last decade at the MCG. They need the 4 points in the context of the season, but also a win here on the eve of September would do them the world of good as Ashcroft kicks down the wing and Brain can't mark. And the pressure from Collingwood, Chris forces it out of play. Throw in right on halfway. Lions by 2 goals, 10 played final term.
And a bit of composure would also take the Collingwood noise, the crowd out of it for a moment as well. Collingwood supporters are right involved in this game at the moment.
Thrown on the wing, Darcy Cameron trying to take it out of the ruck. Spills down towards Dunkley, gets a handball away to Sharp. Off towards Ashcroft, now Neal on the burst, towards half forward. Long kick to full forward for Brisbane. Pack forms, more good mark. Defensive mark for the Pies. He kicks towards half-back and spots up Josh Dacos.
He marks and plays on. Hand pass away to Quaynor. And a bumper crowd in again at the MCG, despite Collingwood looking less likely to make the 8. Short kick down the wing. Now it's back into congestion. Spits out towards Lipinski. Hand pass to Noble. Umpire says a throw. Oh, gee, they won't like this. Cue the Magpie Army, and a free kick is going to go Brisbane's way.
Big play, Ryan Lester there. Underrated player, Lester, so well regarded inside. He just closed the space. It looked like they were out the Pies. Affected the spoil on Elliott, created the contest. Let's have a look. Oh, gee whiz. Letter of the law probably there.
Hipwood, low trajectory, drop punt down to Dunkley, who bobs up and marks 60 from home, kicks into the forward pocket, Loman hands to it, no mark, can't complete it. Moore keeps it alive for Collingwood, back pocket, hand pass to Maynard, handball away to Howe, drifts a hand pass forward to Long, jams it on the boot, it's a turnover. Zorko takes the intercept mark on the wing. Brisbane by 12 points, a dozen minutes into this final term.
Zorko kicks into the middle, taken by Leicester. Long kick into the pocket, looking for Danaher. Moore right there with him, punches it down. Fletcher Rose tackled, might have got in his back. Lipinski, no. Ball up. 40 out from the attacking goal for Brisbane.
Does it look like he did?
12 points, Brisbane's lead. McInerney with the fist on it, spills out towards Fletcher again. No free kick there once more. Dunkley, handball towards Archie, gives it back to Dunkley. He's tackled quickly. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. We played 13 minutes in the 4th quarter. Plenty to go. Lions by 12.
McInerney whacks it out towards the boundary line and it slips out of play as Neil sees it out. And they love this, Brisbane. Not just a rare victory here at the home of footy at the MCG, but to bring down the shutters on Collingwood's premiership defence.
A lot of fumbling going on out there. It just looks a bit dewy. You can see it in the players' hair too, can't you? It looks like almost like wet footy a little bit.
Boundary throwing. McInerney wins the hit out. Half forward for Brisbane, sliding through Ashcroft. Free kick for a high tackle, but it's going Collingwood's way. And Crisp to take it. Deep in defence, wants to move for Collingwood.
He knows what's required, goes straight up the middle, might have turned it over. Zorko picks it up, dispossessed quickly. Handball into congestion, the Pies wrap up Andrews. All upcoming.
Collingwood, it feels like playing like there's 3 minutes to go. There's only 13 minutes into this final term. More than half the quarter remains.
Oh, they get to breathe. Both teams get a breather here with the blood rule. It's almost felt like the game's needed it, hasn't it? You're right. It's been helter-skelter.
Lions by 12 points. They've led all day, 10-11 to 8-11. Different directions tonight. The showdown coming up. For some of our audience and for everyone else, it is St Kilda and Geelong at Docklands. If you want to pick your game to listen to, it's all available for free through the ABC Listen app. So you can toggle between the two games tonight at your choosing, either the showdown in Adelaide, the Power and the Crows, or the Saints and the Cats.
On the live ladder, Brisbane at third. Cox and McInerney both with hands on it, coming through side bottom, sweeps onto the footy, picks it up, left foot kick, shanks it. It'll land fortuitously in the lap of Quaynor. Defensive edge of the square, kicks out to the wing, mark taken by Schultz.
Schultz continues to shift down to half forward. Here's McStay, marks. They call Joyce back on the mark. He's still about 70 metres from goal. 11 minutes to play, plus time on. Lions by 12. Kick looking for Elliott over the back. Brain punches it away for Brisbane. In front of Starcevic. He's tackled by Hill, taken to ground and a ball up. 45 metres out from the Collingwood goal at the Punt Road end. Lions by 12. 14 and a half gone, final quarter.
Cox, left hand tap down. Brain goes in and wins it at ground level. Gets a handball out and Neil. Ball in his possession. Dives over the boundary line. Like he's scoring a try. Trying to come. Left half forward. Here for Collingwood. Brisbane by 12. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Cox and McInerney. Cox works to the front. McInerney at the back. Takes it out of the ruck. Dumps it on his boot. Kick up to the wing for Brisbane. Moore punches it away. Another throw in on the wing. Still Brisbane by 2 goals.
Lachie Neale comes to the bench for probably his last breather. Still side bottom comes with him. Been a great battle, hasn't it? I mean, side bottom's had 24 possessions, 6 clearances, 7 tackles. Lachie Neale, 21, 7 clearances and 2 goals. So it's just been a fantastic battle. 2 champions of the game.
Whacked forward by Mason Cox. Makes another 15 metres. Ball trickles out of bounds. 60 metres out from the Collingwood goal.
It's not quite go time yet for Collingwood. You can still see behind the ball there. There's all one-on-one matchups. They're not trying to get a spare at the moment at the contest, Collingwood.
Boundary throwing. Ruck Sherritt. Comes down towards Dunkley. Hand pass back into dispute. As Ashcroft tries to stand up with the footy, he's drilled in the tackle. 60 metres out from the Pies goal. Brisbane by 12 points. 16 minutes played, final turn.
Cox and McInerney again. Cox palming it down. Nick Dacos can't gather it. Crisp does. Handball away to Long. McCreary half forward. Loops it into the pocket. Elliott zigs and zags. Chips it over the top. Schultz in the goal square. Can't mark. Spills down Long. Leaves it behind. Bobby Hill getting around a couple. Kicks infield. Can't find a target. Lohman for Brisbane. Dumps it on the boot. Kicks to the wing. More marks on the logo. Looks back inside 50. Okay. Kicks out in front of Hoskin Elliott. He marks 40 out. 30-degree angle to the right. Oh. Wants to come infield to Long. And he's got it on his chest. 35 out, slightly improved angle.
Look tied the lines, don't they? A lot of standing around, a lot of hands on hips. And
a lot of dump kicking.
Yeah, that's right.
Just out of their defence. So.
There's loose players everywhere, isn't there? They've just got to think their way through it. Need the ball in, good use his hands. And you're right, that was a great kick from Darcy Moore. Just almost drew Hoskin Elliott into the fat side of the ground.
Changed the angle, took it off the line.
So the former Hawk, now a Magpie. Set shot. is missing. Misses right. So back to 11 points, Brisbane's lead. 17.5 into the fourth. Collingwood throwing everything at them. Saturday footy here on ABC Sport.
1 goal, 4 in the final term for the Pies. They have had their opportunities.
Yeah, Lions need a score, don't they? They're not going to hold on here. Not going to hang on just by defending for this last 8 minutes.
Lions by 11, 17.5 played, final term. Through the hands of Ashcroft and Joyce, and now Fletcher, but still last line of defence. Pies well set up. We need a contest kick down the line here now from Fletcher. He kicks it up in the Mason Cox direction along with Hipwood. Ball spills down to Loman. He's tackled. Ball up. The Pies with all the momentum. Brisbane win. They're in the top 4. Collingwood lose. Their season's over. There's a fair bit on the line as the umpire goes over. Crowd has a little chuckle. Collingwood win the footy. McCreary, hand pass awaited long. High up and under into the forward pocket. Getting back Joyce. No mark. Ball spills out of play. And Starcevich and Hill tangle with each other and they both go to ground. The ump says play on. Boundary throw in forward pocket for the Pies.
You just wonder how many more inside 50s Brisbane can absorb here. That's 9 now for Collingwood. Numbers are starting to creep up for the Lions. They need to get the ball down the other end of the ground. Take some pressure off their defence.
Forward 50 stoppage here for the Pies. Danaher and Cox both with hands on it. Coming through. Dunkley can't get a kick away. Turns tackler on McCreary. Handball out towards Crisp. Trying to get it out. Does so. Shovels out a handball into the pocket. Onto it. Sharp. Tackled quickly. McCreary and Pendlebury. And they've got him high. Free kick. Going to Sharp in the back pocket. Brisbane lead by 11 points. 19 played in the fourth.
Empire was right on the spot there.
Zorko wants to move it. Calls for a wraparound hand pass. Gets it. Kicks it to Ashcroft. Jams it on the boot up the wing. Trying to smother it is Frampton. He goes to ground. Archie stands up. Wins the footy. Hand pass to Morris for Brisbane. Hand pass to Danaher. Kicks inside 50. Out in front of Charlie Cameron. Needs a kind bounce. Gets it. Hooks a kick. Unguarded. Goal square. He's got it. Charlie Cameron goals in the pocket. And that'll make them tough to catch now, the Lions. Charlie Cameron impacts the game significantly for the first time today. It's his opening goal, and it comes at the 20-minute mark of the final term. The Lions by 17, 11-11-77. Collingwood 8-12-60. He kicks one against the float. Adam Ramanauskas, Luke Ball on ABC Sport.
Well, he had to go. Mason Cox just had to go back harder in that contest. You know, the ball was there to be marked and it would have came back inside Collingwood's forward 50. You know, no talk from behind to call him in to say he's got time and space.
They made a meal of it, didn't they? Frampton and Cox. Yeah, the ball ended up landing just directly in between the two of them. Pitched and then, took the off break and fortuitously into the hands of the Lions. And Danaher finds Cameron this time, having burned him a couple of times in that third quarter.
Tap down from McInerney at the restart. Away to McCluggage inside 50. Silver service for Danaher. He's had himself a day, Joe. He marks 35 out as good as directly in front.
And I reckon that is the best example of why Darcy Moore doesn't play on Joe Danaher much. He should be shoulder to shoulder coming out of the centre square. But Joe just got a couple of metres on him and Darcy can't make up the space.
I don't know why you don't start in front of your key forward out of the centre bounce, Rammer. No one's going to kick it 100 metres over your head.
We've had it all from Joe today. His drop punt here is flared out to the left. Sprays it wide.
Door's still open here.
3 goals, Brisbane's lead, 21.5 into the fourth.
Have not taken their opportunities, Collingwood, in this final term. They've kicked 1 goal, 4. And now a goal at the other end. How soul crushing is that for Collingwood? Long kick out towards the wing from Frampton. No mark. Howe caught at the back. Swung forward here, trying to give them an option. He tackles Andrews, and there's going to be a ball up on the wing.
Well, it's go time now. 6 minutes remaining, a little bit over 6 minutes remaining in this contest. Collingwood will take risk. Jeremy Howe's already pushed forward.
McInerney palms it down to Brain. Goes to ground, trying to get a hand pass out. He does so eventually to Charlie Cameron. Clever, just knocks it to Archie's advantage. Kicks down the wing, hitting up Morris. Hand pass back inboard. McCluggage got a hand pass out to Ashcroft. Spun around at a heavy tackle. Ball comes back Collingwood's way though. Parker, hand pass to side bottom. Works through traffic, hits up Schultz. He takes the mark just forward of the wing, southern side. Brisbane by 18, time on in the last.
Has Noble running by, gives the handball. Noble looks into the pocket. Elliott, he's got it. Leaping up and tumbling to mark. 40 out, hard up against the boundary line.
It's a great mark.
Right half forward.
Under all sorts of pressure there from Ryan Lester.
Side bottom was brilliant again there.
Yeah. That kick just out of the contest.
Everyone else is fumbling, fatigue. Can't get their clean hands on it.
Kicked the team high 4 goals in the last meeting earlier this year. Goalless today. Jamie Elliott to keep the Collingwood pulse alive. His set shot goes across the face and touched through. So 17 points, Brisbane's advantage, 23 minutes and change into the fourth. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
61,218, by the way, for the grand final rematch, which is a sensational crowd for Saturday twilight footy, given the circumstances leading in, and Collingwood looking as if their season was slipping away, yet they've come in huge number again. The kick out to the back pocket. And Lester marks, long kick to the wing, and Frampton takes the intercept mark. 2 lines collide with one another. Frampton moves it on. Noble runs onto the footy. 50 out, centering pass. Schultz takes the mark back in the corridor. He'll kick from 35 out. And Nick Dacos in a bit of push and shove here with Wilmot. He'll have to be careful there. And one of the other umpires just runs in and says, come on, Nick. Don't do something silly. Well, this is a must-have. Lockie Schultz, the off-season recruit. They gave up their first-round selection this year for him. They need a goal from him here. Schultz has dropped punt, he's good, and this game's still on. Brisbane's lead cut to 11. 4 and a bit minutes to play. The Lions 11-12-78. Job not done yet. Collingwood 9-13-67. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Raymer and Bawley.
Yeah, absolutely. Job not done. Just 2 younger players crashing into each other there. Frampton takes the intercept mark, and Noble, who's had a pretty good game himself, bringing the ball back inside. A nice kick. They were queuing up, actually. So, yeah, the Lions just switching off a little bit. An uncontested mark from Schultz, who's good enough to go back and kick the goal. And, again, we know what Collingwood are going to do in this last 4 minutes. So, let's see whether the Lions have learnt their lesson a little bit from last week. Weren't able to close the game out against the Giants. Let's see if they can do it today.
I always think back to the game here against Melbourne last year. They were up by 4 goals in time on in the fourth and managed to lose. Free kick out of the middle going to the Pies. Darcy Cameron with the free kick. He thumps it inside 50. Can they take a mark? McStay launches. Comes down towards Wilmot. Kick goes straight up and down. Andrews punches it away. Overrunning it there quickly. Side bottom. Back to McInerney in the middle for Brisbane. Puts it on the boot. Attacking it there is Danaher. Coming through is Bailey. Run down by Quaynor. Caught unawares. Holding the ball. Collingwood with it at centre-half back. Plenty of time on the clock. Over 3 minutes to play. Lions by 11.
Oh, a bit of hang time in the kick. Quaynor trying to link up with Hoskin Elliott. He's getting a free. Had his arms chopped by Joe. Free kick Collingwood. Pokes the pass down the southern wing. Noble marks and plays on. Heads to half forward. Zorko telling touch. Spills it, but straight in the direction of Schultz. Gets it to Elliott. Gets it back. Schultz for 2 in a row. They're within a straight kick. Schultz from the pocket. That's what they paid for. Lockie Schultz. The game breaker in the final term. And Brisbane's lead is just 5 points with 3 minutes to play. Collingwood 10-13-73. Brisbane 11-12-78. Oh, we got a good one again. Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball on ABC Sport.
I'll take the game on, Bawley. Now, I mentioned at about the 6-minute mark, it was go time. They're 3 goals behind Collingwood. And they've certainly gone there. Hoskin Elliott just moved the ball on. Gets it to Noble, moves the ball on again. Then Lockie Schultz, just his last couple of efforts over the last couple of minutes, been absolutely outstanding. Zorko got a touch on that ball, but Schultz just kept at it and kept at it. Followed up Jamie Elliott with the beautiful pickup. Gives the ball back to Schultz, and still plenty of time in this game. 3 minutes remaining.
All started with a rundown tackle from Quaynor.
Back in the middle, free kick, Collingwood, they take the advantage. Darcy Cameron, long kick, Howe launching. Doesn't mark. McCreary at the fall, applies the tackle. Ball up, 30 out from the attacking goal here for the Pies. They are coming with a rush. Umpire puts it up. McInerney slaps it down, McCreary, outside of the right boot, finishes. Cardiac Collingwood, they're in front. He's got a couple, they lead by a point. 11-13-79, plays 11-12-78. How do they keep doing it?
Well, it's just the avalanche, isn't it? And look at the space there. Look at Jack Chris standing on his own. I mean, it's brilliant from Collingwood, but it's equal parts horror stuff from the lines this last couple of minutes. The space at a 4:50 stoppage, players letting Collingwood players goal side, especially with the speed of McCreary. And in the end, he almost walks into a goal 20 metres out.
Shadow brain there at that contest. Just lost complete contact with McCreary.
666 warning against Collingwood here as they're all out of position, scrambling to get the right numbers in the right zone.
Well, now it's the Lions' turn to throw caution to the wind, isn't it? And there's still plenty of time if they're good enough, if they want it enough.
Can the Lions now change their fate? They have led all day until the last 3 minutes. Lead change number one. It's Collingwood by a point. Back in the middle, Nick Dacos tackled at the centre bounce and will have a ball up. Numbers all around the footy. We're back here again. Less than a kick in it. Final 3 minutes at the G between the Lions and the Pies as Neil gets a kick out to the wing. Bailey bowled over. Plenty of numbers around the footy. Umpire Roseberry says, I'll have it. Ball up on the wing. Collingwood by 1 point. They've kicked 3 goals in 4 minutes to hit the front at the 30-minute mark of the final term.
Cameron taps it down straight to McCluggage. Gets a quick kick away. Elliott launching at the ball on the logo. And they stand up in a maul.
Howe's gone back.
Oscar Elliott has gone back.
2 minutes to play in the fourth. Collingwood lead by a point. And we'll get another ball up.
These two teams do it again at the MCG in Brisbane. What a venue it's been for them. They've only won 2 of their last 17. Side bottom the break. Kicks inside 50. Bobby Hill's on it. Outside of the right boot. He needs it to talk, trying to bend it back.
Good result.
He's kicked it across the face. It trickles out of bounds. We'll have a throw in right forward pocket for Collingwood. It is the Pies by a point. We've got less than 2 minutes to go. And Brisbane now have it all to do, having led all day.
That's the difference there. Just getting it done. Side bottom. That kick compared to Lockie Neal's kick. Josh Dunkley's kick. They go straight up in the air. Side bottom gets the ball, clears the ball 65 metres to advantage. That's the difference.
Forward 50 stoppage for the Pies. A goal would just about do it. They've come from the clouds. From the throw-in, it's tapped back boundary side and out of play. We'll do it again.
Still time here, the Lions. Look at them. They look a bit despondent. Got to get themselves organised here. Get the players, get some speed on the ball.
Under 2 minutes to play. Umpire brings it back in. Cameron and McInerney. Cameron palms it down to the front, coming through Ashcroft. Wins it for Brisbane. Off to Archie. Quick kick out of bounds on the full. Collingwood back in possession. They lead it by a point.
Just again, that's the difference in the two teams. And it's leadership. It's handling the moment. It's not panicking. It's composure. Collingwood, we know, I mean, not as much this year, but so much experience in these situations. These game situations, know exactly what to do.
Josh Dacos kicks down to half forward, intercept mark though. McInerney jumps in front of the pack, takes it for Brisbane at half back. He just kicks a spiral hurriedly down the southern wing. Frampton spoils over the back. Leicester knocks it down towards Rayner. Hand pass inside, turnover. Pendlebury for Collingwood. Hand pass got it away to Noble.
Can't stop
Noble
now.
says, slow it down. There's a free kick. It's coming all the way back. Gee, it was a...
I don't understand that, Corb.
What was the free kick for? It's coming
It's
back.
too high.
Coming coming back to Schultz on the wing. So Collingwood ball, 1:15 to play. Collingwood by 1 point. They've kicked the last 3 goals.
The loose is over this side of the ground. It's Hoskin Elliott, so it should be 1-on-1.
Schultz goes long and Darcy Cameron, strong mark. They don't get any smaller. Cameron's got it and can take some time out of this game. Collingwood by a point. Kick goes inside, attacking 50. Dunkley punches it away. Archie Rose has to get rid of it. Not sure how he did. It's a throw. Free kick, Collingwood. And it will go to side bottom, I think.
Well, that's the ball game. It looks like he just took it out of his hands, didn't he? Umpire was right there.
The clock stopped.
Noble will get the free kick.
Time on now. So he should, if he's smart, he'll run this right down. And that's the ball game. We're going to do it again, the Pies.
Gee whiz, Brisbane's record at the MCG. We set it up right off the top today. Noble just looking around, looking like he might kick backwards.
He should if he's smart.
Now he's on the approach. He'll shoot on goal from just inside 50. It'll go right to the line. McInerney marks it on the line. And the Lions will have to go coast to coast.
McInerney gives it to Zorko. Kicks a spiral straight down the centre square. No mark. There's a free kick. It's going to Brisbane. Time runs out. And the runners-up from last year bring out the Premier's DNA. The best of Collingwood on show. And the MCG House of Horrors haunts Brisbane yet again. Collingwood by a point.
Good old Collingwood forever. They know how to play the game. Side by side they stick together to uphold the Magpies' name. See the barricades are shouting as all barricades should. Oh, the premiership's a cakewalk for the good old Collingwood.
Well, Collingwood's premiership defence is alive at least for another day, another week. They'll take it into the final round of the season. While for the Brisbane Lions, another head-scratcher. They led this game by 17 points, time on in the final term at the 25-minute mark, and then conceded 3 goals in 4 minutes to cough up another game at the MCG. 2 wins from their last 18 appearances here in the last decade. Another horror show for Brisbane.
Collingwood forever. They know how to play the game. Side by side they stick together to uphold the Magpies' name. See the barricades are shouting as all barricades should. Oh, the premiership's a cakewalk for the good old Collingwood.
Hope you get something quite as good as that in the showdown over in Adelaide. So to our audience throughout South Australia, WA and the NT, you're off to the showdown for the Power and the Crows. And for everybody else, we'll take you to that other game between St Kilda and Geelong shortly, but not before the reactions from Luke Ball and Adam Ramanauskas. Collingwood, who trailed all day, hit the front for the first time at the 28-minute mark of the final term. They get it done, the Premiers. They repeat the dose on last year's grand finalists to win by a point.
Well, 6 minutes 35 remaining in that last quarter. Collingwood are 3 goals down. And Bully and I looked at each other and we thought, oh. And you knew it was go time there for Collingwood. And then it was just through absolute caution to the wind. They took 6 marks inside their forward 50 in that last quarter. They continued to move the ball on as quickly as they possibly could. It was aggressive running. It was aggressive possession. I think when you've got that mix of run and possession and dare and dash, it just puts the opposition on the back foot. Brisbane couldn't find a score. They just couldn't find a score to shut the game down. They kicked the ball back to Collingwood 21 times. Collingwood had 21 intercept marks. So Brisbane just couldn't find a score late in that game. Couldn't find the ball in their forward half late in that game. A couple of little errors, and it's a costly loss for the Lions. A costly loss.
Yeah, little errors, you're right, Ramo. Little moments, like Bailey just getting run down, by Quainer there when, really any sort of mark or score would have put the game to bed, and then even little things like Archie throwing the ball back and letting his opponent get out goal side. I mean, that stoppage goal, that'll haunt.
Yeah.
That's going to be a horror review on Monday. That's
brain.
just horror sort of stuff against this Collingwood team, who are going to keep doing it, Rama. If you don't want to play that chaos game with them, and whether it was a mixture of fatigue or I think just lack of composure, a bit of leadership. Their leaders are pretty well held throughout the course of the day. The Lions in that last quarter, they just didn't stand up again. We saw it last week, and so that's why that question mark still remains with this team. You look at their team on paper, there's so much talent there, we know that, but they're just not able to get it done when the whips are cracking in those moments. I thought, classic case of that last centre bounce, Dunkley gets his hands on it, kicks it straight up in the air. Neil gets his hand straight up in the air, side bottom, gets his hands on it, forward, takes the yard, 60 metres forward. Hill gets the kicks and they get the stoppage and they're able to bottle up. So it's just those little things. Yeah. It's not big things. It's those little moments which Collingwood. And okay, it hasn't happened as much this year, but we know that they'll get it done. And the Lions haven't been able to get it done this year.
The Lions led by 15 against the Giants with 16 minutes to go last week, lost by 18 points, so heavy fade out in the final quarter. They led by 17 here even later, 25-minute mark of the final term, and lose by 1. And we got a hot minute before we're out of here, Baldy. Have you got some notes for me?
I was so involved in the game that I haven't been thinking about it, but we'll start with I think side bottom gets the 3, Ram. And look, Neil had his moments and kicked 2 goals and certainly wasn't Brisbane's worst, we know that, but I just thought his ability to nullify Neil and then have the footy himself.
Actually, I wrapped this up way too early. We've got another 10 minutes.
I was going to say.
You can tell I'm first game back. I've been
a bit of You're still on Paris time. Anyway, do you want to do the votes?
If you're ready for them, I don't mean to rush.
I'm not sure we are.
No, we're not quite ready.
We'll come back.
Look, Steel Sidebottom's got the 3.
He's got
can't wait to find out who gets 3. I'll give you the goal kickers while you guys work that out.
First.
My apologies. We got another 10 minutes. I'm so excited to move on to the next game, which you will be getting shortly, which is St Kilda and Geelong. Of course, some of our network have already gone to the showdown. If you want to listen to that, both games available through the ABC Listen app. Story of the day, if you've just joined us, Brisbane kicked 6 of the first 7 goals. They led by 31 points at one stage, time on in the opening quarter. Collingwood fought back. They kicked the next 4 goals to end the half. Brisbane by 5 points at half-time. The Lions steadied up, kicked the first 3 goals of the third term before again Collingwood would come up once more. They kicked the next 3 in the game, either side of three-quarter time, before Brisbane had put it out to a 17-point advantage through Charlie Cameron at the 25-minute mark of that final quarter before Collingwood exploded. 2 goals to Lachie Schultz, 1 to Beau McCreary, and in the space of 4 minutes they turned a 17-point deficit into a 1-point lead. They navigated successfully the last 2 and a bit minutes on the game clock, and Collingwood, in front of 61,218 at the MCG, win by a solitary point. The Premiers, 11-13, beat the Lions 11-12. They dropped consecutive games, Brisbane, after being in the top 2 and after having leads of more than 15 points in the final quarter in back-to-back weeks. And Brisbane now, you would think, will not get a top 4 finish and will find themselves in a cutthroat final in the first week in September. The goal kickers for the winning team, the Premiers in the end. 2 goals for Schultz, McStay, McCreary and Nick Dacos. Singles for Quaynor and for Hoskin Elliott. While for the Brisbane Lions, 4 for Joe Danaher, 2 for Lohman, 2 for Neil, and singles for Cameron, Bailey and McInerney.
Well, it's simple. If Port Adelaide win and Geelong win, Brisbane can't make the top 4. It's really, really simple. So
Port Adelaide play Adelaide tonight.
And Geelong play St Kilda tonight. So we'll know, we could potentially know the top 4 by tonight.
They need them to lose both of them, really, don't they? So it looks like Brisbane will, consigned to finishing 5th now. And look, the season that it is, and the spread, and the evenness of the comp. At least, if they get a home final from 5th, who knows? They can get a bit of a run, and they'll have the week off to get healthy again. But
it's a tough way to do it, isn't it?
It's an ordinary 2 weeks, isn't it? For a team who had won 9 before that, was steamrolling towards where we thought they'd be at the start of the year, with many tipping them to be premiership favourites. It's a bit of pill, and it just shows, Rammer, to me, that under the pump, under the real heat, they're still not quite ready.
Well, what they did when Collingwood took the lead, there was still 3 minutes remaining on the clock, but what they actually did, Brisbane, is they took more numbers to the contest when they needed to even numbers up around the ground. Like, soon as you don't even numbers up against Collingwood, they're able to control the game, control the ball. It's what Collingwood do. Okay, you outnumber it at the contest, we'll tackle. We'll tackle at the contest and make it pressure so you kick the ball high.
70 tackles to 40.
Yeah.
You know, so that's Collingwood's way. After quarter time, that's the thing. They dialed that up, no doubt about it.
Pies by point. Let's drop in on the Collingwood song. So the title defence lives for now for the Collingwood Football Club. They get themselves to 48 points, and as a result, they're equal with a bunch of other teams, including the occupants of that position who both play tomorrow. So we've obviously got Hawthorn and the Western Bulldogs. So the Dogs on 48 points, Hawthorn on 48, Carlton on 48. So all three of those teams in action tomorrow. The Dogs are playing North, favourites in that game. Hawthorn are playing Richmond, favourites in that game. And Carlton play West Coast, which is a flip of a coin. And now, obviously, Collingwood make their move up to 48 premiership points as well. The Pies don't have a great percentage, so they are hoping for a few upsets. And even then, there is mathematically the chance that if they win and win big and other results go their way in the final round, there may be a passage for them. But
there's a passage.
They need other results.
Well, left it too late. And they'll rue last week's fade out against the Swans when they were in an absolute winning position.
2 draws
through
as well.
Last quarter. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, I mean, you end up, ultimately, you get what you deserve, don't you, in this competition. We know that. And as I said, the Lions, for that terrific run, the last couple of weeks show that they're not quite ready to be a premiership favourite, but gosh, who is? Well, it's interesting because they might end up playing a Hawthorn or a Bulldogs in that first week in an elimination final, who won't fear them going up there to Brisbane, will they? The form that particularly Hawthorn are in. So, yeah, it's a bad miss.
Should I go again?
Righto. Okay.
Start at the one.
Well,
start at the one. We'll build the three up. We'll build the three up.
The votes in the ABC Footballer of the
Start
Year
again?
with Luke Ball.
Because I've had a quick look. I've just had a bit more of a time to digest it.
One of my big nitpicks with our experts when they start their votes from 3, Bally.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
Well, they shouldn't get thrown under the pump and be told they've got 40 seconds when they've actually got 11 minutes, 40 seconds. But anyway.
I'll take that one.
He's a serial offender with the starting at 3 as well.
Recidivist.
I want to preface it. I don't want to be accused of any bias, but I couldn't squeeze a Brisbane player in, and that's probably more to the point that, I mean, they had some good players in moments, I think. I thought, Cluggage's first half was really good, fade out of it. Ashkoff's first half was really good.
Danaher.
Zorko had some moments. Danaher's probably the one. Yeah, I think maybe he's the one. In fact, you know what? I'm going to squeeze him in.
It was 10 goals to 5.
Yeah, that's right. And he kicked 4, and
Danaher gets the one.
Missed that one. So 1 to Danaher. 2 to Nick Dacos. I'm a bit rattled too, Corb. It's catching on.
I feel like the peer pressure here is taking
2 to Nick Dacos and 1 to Steele side bottom. Okay. With apologies to Jeremy.
3 to Steele side.
3 to Steele
side. What did I say?
You said 1 to...
I got to go. 1 Danaher, 2 Nick Dacos, 3 side bottom.
I feel like we've come back just in time. We got a little bit of a run in. We needed to blow some cobwebs out today. Finals are around the corner. But I think we needed to hit out today.
We got there in the end.
Yep. So 3 for side bottom, 2 for Nick Dacos, 1 for Joe Danaher, the votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year. Next week we're actually down to the Cattery, so can't wait to get down there. It won't be Tom Hawkins' farewell, at least in front of his home faithful. Obviously he's already been ruled out, but we'll be there next Saturday afternoon with you on ABC Sport. Coming up tonight, of course, St Kilda and Geelong for most of the network. We'll be taking you there in a few moments' time. Which way have we tipped? Has anyone gone with the Saints tonight?
No. Geelong, too professional. I mean, really, given what's happening around us here, Geelong are as good a chance as any with their experience, and they're so much more. They're consistent.
They're sort of the quiet achiever, I think, in this premiership race.
Yep, agree. So Cats for me, and then. Gee, the showdown. That's always a bit of a toss of the coin, isn't it? Crow's got a good record.
It's a maturity game for Port Adelaide tonight. You know,
just go and win.
Go and win. Go and show your premiership credentials.
Win and you get a double chance. Simple as that.
Yep. Mitch in the studio too, just noting that it's the narrowest win that Collingwood have ever had over the Brisbane Lions, by the way. So if you want to include the old Bears or Fitzroy, you have to go back to 1981 in a semi-final here. But 1 point victory for Collingwood. If you've just flicked the radio on after perhaps following most of the day and perhaps you went inside and got the fish and chips or whatever it may be, you'd be thinking, what on earth's happened there? They kicked 3 goals in a 4-minute burst, 2 to Schultz, 1 to McCreary, and Collingwood have done it again and broken Brisbane hearts here at the MCG in their grand final rematch. So Collingwood, who trailed all day, hit the front for the first time in the final 3 minutes on the game clock, the 28-minute mark of the final term, and as a result, Collingwood win by 1 point. That just about does us from here. Just to tidy up the housekeeping out of this too. Jared Berry with a hamstring injury, so the club's saying hamstring tightness.
He won't play next week.
Yep. They've got Essendon next week, and then obviously the pre-finals bye.
Yeah, so he gets the 2 weeks off.
Yep. Does it change your opinion on Brisbane today about whether they can actually win it?
Yeah, it does.
Well, they were in red-hot form, and now they've dropped the last 2. They should have last week. They should have been probably 7 or 8 up in the first quarter. Not dissimilar to tonight against Collingwood. They should have been a couple more up. Third quarter again. I think they kicked 3-5 in that third quarter. So they had their chances, the Lions. So you just can't flirt. You can't flirt in this competition, particularly so late in the season.
Lee says a little bit on Collingwood's final home and away game, which is Friday night up against Melbourne, who had a big win today. So just to recap those earlier games too, Melbourne by 9 goals over Gold Coast. So that's actually 12 in a row now that the Demons have won over the Suns. So funny how these things happen in the competition where one side gets a complete dominance over the other for whatever the reason may be.
I just feel like there's a twist. There's a twist somewhere in these next the games for the remaining of this round. That could Collingwood just sneak in somehow.
And Jesse Hogan, by the way, kicked 6 goals 4, so he's 10 clear on top of the Coleman medal tally as GWS beat Fremantle by 9 points. In the twilight here, it was Collingwood by 1 over the Brisbane Lions. It's great to be back. Ben Cameron and myself are off working on our Olympic coverage, but no better place would rather be than with both
always fun
yourself, Adam Ramanauskas, and you, Luke Ball, at the MCG to watch a game of footy like this, but any game of footy. Also need to wish a very happy birthday to our esteemed technician who shares a birthday with our own Michael Malthouse in Stuart Hollywood Baker. So happy birthday to Stuart. He's the best in the game. So we appreciate all his work. Thanks to Mitch Turner back in the studio as well. So we're off to the footy. Coming up in a few moments' time, it'll be Matt Clinch alongside Lauren Borden and Daniel Harford for the full call tonight. So St Kilda and Geelong. Just a reminder, if you want to listen to the showdown or any game at your convenience, the ABC Listen app is the place to do it. You can toggle across the 2 AFL icons to pick which game you'd rather listen to. In the twilight, it was Collingwood winning the grand final rematch by 1 point in a thriller over the Brisbane Lions.